Bhupender ji, I'll be waiting for the signal from you.
Sir, we are live. We can start it. Sir.
We are live?
Yes, sir.
We can start now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, good morning, all the participants. Warm welcome from IMT to this information and counseling session. I am Dhananjay Singh. I am the admission chair and a faculty in marketing at Imt Hyderabad. And as part of the information and counseling session, Imt Hyderabad will first do the presentation, followed by Imt Nagpur and Imt Ghaziabad. So without any further delay, let me share. Right. So this is the information and counseling session. And as I said, on a Sunday morning, feels very good to invite all those people who are joining this session. Now, we are from Imt Hyderabad, and in this presentation, and before we get into the presentation, let me make one more announcement. I'm sure you will be having some questions on the basis of what we share with you. I would like to inform all the participants to kindly register those questions either in the chat in the YouTube live session from where it will be posted to us, and we'll try to answer all the questions at the end of the presentation in the final 10 minutes. Okay, so the flow of the presentation is something like this. In this presentation on Imt Hyderabad, we are going to talk about the programs offered and the salient features of the program. Then we will have a discussion on the internship and placement process. We have two distinguished alumni who are joining this session, where the alumni will share their experiences as an alumni and what was their experience on campus, and if they have to share some advice for you guys, what will that advice be? And then the presentation will end with a with one or two slides on the admission process. Now, before I invite the Dean Academics, I just thought that let me give you a very brief introduction of what Imt Hyderabad is, and then introduce you to all the panelists, and then invite the Dean Academics to talk about the academic process at Imt Hyderabad. So Imt Hyderabad is the youngest Imt group campus. We started our operations in the year 2011. And Imt is in the business of nurturing socially responsible business leaders through a very innovative program called LEAP. And our Dean Academics will be dwelling in detail on this particular point. We are very strategically located, very close to the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport, and in a close proximity to the IT, pharma, and innovator hub in Hyderabad. I'm happy to share and inform you that we are the second business school in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, which features in the top 65 NIRF ranking. And it gives me great pride to also inform you all that probably we are one of those very young campus which have got the permission to offer a full-time fellow program in management, which we have started offering from last year. Because we are part of Imt group, we also have the opportunity to make use of this 52 plus international partnerships for faculty and student exchange and practitioner sessions, because this is a management program, is a very unique and a very important entity as part of the pedagogy at Imt Hyderabad. Now, before I move to the next slide, let me invite and probably let me introduce you to other panelists who are part of this session. First, I have the privilege of inviting Dr. Chakrapani. Professor Chakrapani, if you can just switch on your video. So Professor Chakrapani is the Dean Academics at Imt Hyderabad, and Professor Chakrapani is going to share his views on our programs and the academic process. We are also joined by Mr. Prakash Pathak, who is the head corporate relations. And Mr. Prakash Pathak will be dwelling in detail on the placement process, the strategic interventions, and the internship process. And as I said, we are very happy that we have Saurav Singh and Sandhya Ramasubramaniam, two of our distinguished alumni from different batches, who are also going to share their experiences or their thoughts on what has been their journey on IMT campus and life after IMT campus. So now I invite Professor Chakrapani to take the discussion forward from here. Professor Chakrapani.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Dhananjay, and a warm welcome to prospective candidates. IMT Hyderabad offers 2-year full-time residential PGDM programs in PGDM, PGDM Finance, and PGDM Marketing. Next slide, Dhananjay.
Okay.
Following are the program goals of PGDM programs at IMT Hyderabad: functional proficiency and integration, analytical and critical thinking ability, leadership and interpersonal skills, communication skills, creativity and innovation skills, ethical and global perspective. These program goals, Dhananjay, if you can move to the next slide, please. These program goals are achieved through LEAP. Okay. LEAP stands for Leadership, Engagement and Academic Program. It's a value-based, value-added business leadership program offered at IMT Hyderabad to all the students in line with its vision of nurturing socially responsible business leaders. LEAP is embedded in the existing program architecture offered by IMT Hyderabad. The purpose of LEAP is to nurture communication skills, cognitive and interpersonal skills, contemporary digital skills, and develop business acumen and social consciousness among students of IMT Hyderabad. Next slide, Professor Dhananjay. LEAP outcomes are achieved through the following initiatives at IMT Hyderabad. The first one being the Industry Mentor-Mentee program initiated by IMTH to enhance industry readiness and nurture business leadership among students. Industry mentors will help students to hone their interpersonal skills, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills in real situations. IMT Hyderabad offers hands-on workshops during first year of the program in emerging areas such as programming using Python, blockchain technologies, advanced spreadsheet modeling, personal branding, leadership labs, creativity and innovation workshops, and design thinking. As part of the Distinguished Speaker Series, CEOs and CXOs from leading corporates are invited to share their business building experience with students and update them about the happenings in the corporate world. Students learn about the challenges that these leaders had to face while achieving their goal, which gives them the motivation to think for out-of-the-box solutions. Students at IMT Hyderabad undergo a 12-week faculty supervised internship in an organization to apply the knowledge they have acquired during the first year of their program and bridge the perceived gap between theory and practice. The internship program enables students to experience the rigors of professional environment, both in terms of form and substance. Next slide, please. Yeah. The social community Connexel was established with the objective of sensitizing the students towards the society so as to bring about positive change in the communities and address real life societal changes. As part of global immersion, students are given the opportunity to pursue global immersion programs with IMT Dubai and 44 plus partner institutes across continents for a duration of 1 week to a trimester. At IMT Hyderabad, at least 15% of our courses is delivered by senior executives from corporate world, and the rest is delivered by the faculty members in charge. This is to ensure that the courses being offered are relevant and updated to meet the current as well as the future needs of the business world, and also sensitize students to the real world challenges, and students are exposed to the best practices in the industry within that function. IMT Hyderabad offers a wide variety of contemporary courses such as digital marketing, blockchain for managers, artificial intelligence and machine learning, risk analytics, sports analytics, international logistics, and supply chain management. Next slide. As part of the institute-sponsored professional certificates, students can obtain certifications from leading business schools like Yale, London Business School, Duke University, University of Pennsylvania, etc. On courses and certifications like Six Sigma, Green Belt, Design Thinking for Innovation, Blockchain Application Certificates, Python for Data Science and AI applications, and so on and so forth. Imt Hyderabad offers innovative pedagogic approaches and focuses on skill development through application and experiential learning exercises like simulations, role plays, games, Harvard and Ivy League cases. Psychometric testing assessment, counseling, and mentoring is done for personality development. Student will have abundant opportunities for self-enhancement and improvement through various clubs and co-curricular activities, which I'm sure our alumni is going to talk in much more details. With this, I would like to pass on the mic to Professor Dhananjay Singh. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Now I have the privilege of inviting Mr. Prakash Pathak, the head corporate relations, to share his views on the corporate relation initiatives and other corporate engagement initiatives at IMT Hyderabad. Mr. Prakash Pathak, please.
Thank you, Professor Dhananjay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Great. So I would also like to thank Professor Chakrapani for giving a brief about the academic initiatives at IMT Hyderabad. And since this is a webinar which is attended by the prospective students, what I would like to tell all these students first is that whatever I would say in the next 10 to 15 minutes may be important for you, not only if you join IMT Hyderabad, but any institute that you join. So basically, this contents of my presentation is basically would be talking of what IMT Hyderabad did in the last few years. We had some phenomenal transitions happening in our average salaries, in our median salaries, in the number of offers per company that our students get. So basically, how we were able to achieve these transitions, these figures in placements. So if you know that, probably that will help you throughout your career. And I would be talking on the FOPA of placements. FOPA means the slip-ups, the mistakes that students normally do in placements. And normally, because they normally don't understand the first job versus career, what a first job means and what a career means. I think some of the alumni are here, so I would request them to touch on this point while they are speaking. And then I would briefly touch on the internship opportunities, which is your first window of any kind of exchange with the corporate world. And then I'll briefly touch the summary of what I have spoken in these 15 minutes. So Professor Dhananjay, if you can move to the next slide. Yeah. So basically we have what we do is we have something called a words of wisdom. So any company that we bring in for campus placement at IMT Hyderabad, before you actually interact with the company, we make you interact with the alumni who has already been placed in that company and who has cracked that particular company. For example, if Zomato is coming 2 days from now for campus placement, we would invite one alumni from Zomato who has already been placed at Zomato, who has cracked Zomato, and who can tell you exactly how what preparations you can do to increase your opportunity chances in that particular company. Okay, so that's called words of wisdom. We have something called a placement training program, which is very meticulously designed, where we cover things like soft skills, group discussions, and so on, so that we actually, as is mentioned here, not only bring companies to campus, but also train you on how to crack those companies. Yeah, can you go to the next point, Professor Dhananjay? Yeah. Similarly, we have something called inputs and domain refreshers. So, I'm just trying to lay a stress on the kind of kind of preparation that we help our students do so that they crack the interview processes. And that is very important because, again, as I said, bringing the companies to on board is one thing, and students cracking the companies is also very important. So we have input and domain refresher sessions. We prepare you and facilitate your participation in various corporate competitions. So what corporates do is, some of you may know, there are competitions which are created and evaluated by the corporates themselves. Some of these competitions I can name are HUL Lime, L'Oreal Brandstorm, OnePlus Student Ambassador Program. Similarly, we have Wired by Flipkart and so on. So these are various competitions, and what we do is we help our students facilitate their participation in these competitions. And most of the times, these competitions end with a PPO or a PPI. So basically, that is the advantage that you have in at IMT Hyderabad. The Dean, Professor Chakrapani, talked about the IM2P, which is the Industry Mentor-Mentee Program, and LEAP, which is our Leadership, Engagement, and Academic Program. So both these programs, in these programs, through these programs, especially the Mentor-Mentee Program, what we do is we try to connect the students with mentors. So these mentors are industry leaders from the industry, who have themselves spent a lot of time in the corporate world and who can be your lifetime coach for guiding you to your in your corporate career, not only as a student but also when you join a job. In case 2 years from now you want to take some important decision in your life, you can consult these mentors and so on. So this is our industry mentor to mentee program, which is IM2P program. We have an internal competition which is called Placements T50, where we try to create a healthy competitive environment among students, which tests them on their overall placeability. And one thing that most of the campuses may not have is we have something which is, we have a up to 2 offer policy. So students can get up to 2 offers. Normally in campuses, when a student gets an offer, he or she is out of placements. But in IMT Hyderabad, we probably you can have a second offer also. So Professor Dhananjay, can you? Yeah. So basically, now these, I talked of some initiatives that we took. I mean that we have, like Industry Mentor-Mentee Program, LEAP, the kind of words of wisdom, and faculty interventions and so on. So these initiatives have helped us achieve some results, and these are the results. You know, the average CTC increases by around 27%, 26.26% over the last 1 year, just in 1 year. Similarly, in 1 year, the increase in median CTC has been 26%. So another advice to the prospective students is, whenever you are seeing average CTC of campus, also you should look at the median CTC, because sometimes it is a better indicator than an average CTC. And very important thing, increase in number of offers per company. Number of offers is, if there is a batch of 240 students, how many companies are required to place those 240 students? So that is very important. So that has improved by 100%. So it was somewhere around 2.5 offers per company, which is now more than 5 offers per company, which is actually an example that you know, we have been preparing our students quite well. And again, as I would lay stress, not only bring companies, but also prepare you on how to crack those companies. So this is one thing that we do differently. And we also had an increase in the number of profiles by sought after sectors. There are certain sectors like consulting, IT, ITS, FMCG, which are sought after. And as an MBA aspirant, you would look forward to get selected in these sectors. So if you look at some of the data, the consulting sector companies increased by 20% in the last 1 year. And the IT, ITS sector companies increased by around 55% than last year. So basically we have we also take care of what are the sectors that you look forward to, and how to bring those, and we actually lay a focus on bringing such companies on campus. Now, I talked of this FOPA, and probably I think everyone should, as a prospective aspirant, should kind of spend or think of these few things. How to choose placements. I have seen some best of the best trainers talking about these three things: profile, brand, and CTC. And normally they say that so while selecting a company for placement, which company you should sit for and which company you should put your best foot forward in it. People say that you look at the profile of the offered by the company, the brand, which is the company, and the CTC offered by the company. But I have a different approach towards it. What I believe is there is a fourth most important factor that you guys should be looking on beyond profile, brand, and CTC. And this factor is the exposure that you would be getting at in that company. What kind of exposure that you would be getting at in that company? What I mean by exposure, I'll explain you in the next slide. Yeah. So if you look at our offers, and we just did we just had some stats in place. Nearly 50% of our offers are offers where you are required to work in global teams. Okay. So this is one thing again that you can look at apart from profile, brand, and CTC, that what is basically important for you while selecting which company to choose for placement. So obviously, if you are working in a company where you can network with global team members or go on site, where you have culture diversity in thoughts and so on, that would immensely help you in your career. So that's one area that you should look forward to, and where IMT Hyderabad as an institute has done exceptionally well. And as I said, nearly 50% of our offers are offers where you would be working in global teams. Similarly, there is something called a management trainee profile, which gives you a rotational experience. You know, nearly 35% of our roles are roles which give you rotational experience. And what is rotational experience? Rotational experience is that you can work in different roles in that company. Suppose you are selected at Marico. So what you are selected as is a management trainee. As a management trainee, in the first 6 months or in the first 1 year, you will be working in different roles. And finally, you will be selecting the role which is based on your skill set, experience, and your performance in these various domains that you were working in. So we have this, not to mention that 3 of the big 4 hire from us. And in fact, very soon we would be proudly saying that all the big 4 companies hire from us. We have PwC, we have Deloitte, and we have KPMG who hire from us, and we very soon have EY, which will be conducting the placement process very soon. Okay, and the fourth important thing, the profiles that are being offered. So I'll leave this slide for you for 10 seconds. So this gives you an idea of the niche profiles which are offered at IMT Hyderabad. So if you have a look at these profiles, and basically, if you see, there is diversity in profiles. There are profiles for finance students, there are profiles for sales and marketing students, there are profiles for operations students, there are profiles for HR students, and there are profiles for analytics students also. So basically, these are the kind of profiles that you would be working in if you choose IMT Hyderabad and if you get selected in IMT Hyderabad. So then one thing that I would like to talk about is internships at IMT Hyderabad, which is your first available opportunity to interact with the corporate. So we have companies like Google, DE Shaw, HDFC Bank, RCCM, Tata Steel, Mylan, RBI, KPMG, and so on, where our students do internship. So all of these are great companies where the entire focus before we actually select a company for internship is learning. So that's some great learning. along with some great stipend that you can look forward to. Some of the top paying companies involve Google, which is paying close to 1,50,000 rupees per month, and DShaw, which is paying close to 75,000 rupees per month. Nevertheless, with the corollary, I would say in an internship, stipend is not important. What is more important is learning. And every year we get some 20 to 25 PPOs where we are increasing. That also is an increasing trend. Every year, the number of PPOs are increasing. So can we move to the next one? Yeah.
So I think, sir, with this, we are done with the part on corporate relations at IMT Hyderabad. Okay.
Sure.
So,
right.
Right. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your views on the corporate relations and the way we engage with the corporates and the kind of placements and the kind of recruiters that visit our campus. Now, I have the pleasure of inviting two of my most important guests, Sandhya Ramasubramaniam and Saurav Singh. Saurav and Sandhya, if you guys can please switch on your videos. So Sandhya Ramasubramaniam is a student from the 13-15 batch, and Sandhya was the vice president is working as vice president financial strategy at Anand Rathi Wealth Limited. And Saurav Singh, who passed out in the year 2020, is working with Amazon. And first, what I'll request Sandhya and Saurav to do is, maybe we can go in the order. First, we'll request Sandhya and then Saurav to share what has been their experience on campus, what is their current role, what do they do in the current role, and how has IMT Hyderabad been instrumental in where they are in their career and what they have achieved in their career. So I request Sandhya to start first.
Thank you so much, Dhananjay sir. Hello, everyone. It's truly an honor to represent and talk about IMT Hyderabad. And thank you, Dhananjay sir and Chakrapani sir, for having me here. Because it is a moment of great pride that I am invited to talk about the experiences that I've had so far, both in my academic life as well as my professional life. So to talk about my current role and responsibility, I work as a Vice President Financial Strategy with Anand Rathi Wealth Limited, as rightly introduced by Dhananjay sir. So this company is into offering wealth management services to the high net worth individuals across the globe. I've completed 5 years with this firm after a brief stint at EY, which was my first job. My role is to manage the private family monies of the bigwigs and the who's who of the world with the professional investment advisory that I bring to the table. So here we are supposed to meet the client's requirements, basically the end-to-end portfolio requirements. And my role is to ensure that we complete the entire process life cycle, right from segmenting, prospecting, lead generation, onboarding, and managing the professional relationships of the clients. I'm now handling a team of MBA graduates who work as my constituents and help me manage my clients. So it feels good to be on the other side of the table where I get to mentor and coach the freshly graduated MBA students who aspire to carve a niche for themselves. Now, coming to how IMT Hyderabad has been instrumental in shaping my career. As I said, it is a matter of great pride to carry the tag of IMT Hyderabad as I climb up the corporate ladder in my career. This esteemed alma mater has helped me enhance my professional capabilities, and it has taken me several notches higher with respect to my contemporaries. And there are many, many reasons for this. Some of the management skills that have come handy while dealing with my professional engagements with my clients are leadership and interpersonal skills to start with. Followed by critical thinking and analytical skills, to name a few. These qualities have helped me come up the learning curve rather swiftly and in turn shape me as a thorough professional. So taking a bird's eye view of every problem in hand and logically arriving at a solution using strategic tools is something which I picked from my B-School days. The discipline, time management, and the ability to multitask have taken precedence while executing the day-to-day modus operandi in my current organization as well. If I have to talk about my experiences on campus, as you all are aware that IMT Hyderabad is a residential campus, and it was the first time that I stepped out of the comfort zone of my house like most of us do. It came with its own set of teething challenges in terms of getting adjusted to the new environment, interacting with students from diverse backgrounds, engaging with experienced professors, getting used to eating the mess food, and above all, dealing with the homesickness big time. Yeah, so but I'm grateful to our faculty who were always approachable, who we could go back to with our queries and challenges, and they were ever so welcoming to make us feel at home, even in the campus. The curriculum is designed in such a way that one cannot function in silos. You are required to complete assignments as a group. You need to learn the knack of getting things done and take leadership and ownership whenever situation requires you to. At times, you need to keep your ego aside and talk to people with different intellects. You need to keep calm and work as a team. So team building activities, which are prevalent in every organization, is taught right from your B-school days. Time management is the key, which comes with planning and organizing every task/assignment in hand. If there are 5 electives, it would mean 5 separate assignments. So one needs to divide appropriate time between various subjects so that the equilibrium is maintained. Class participation is something which develops confidence in students who are especially introverted. With time, we become more fluid while making presentations, and stage fright completely vanishes with time. There were days where we used to sleep only for a couple of hours as there was so much in our kitty: assignments, projects, submissions, presentations, resolving team conflicts, and in the end, standing up for the team is a journey in itself. We have worked throughout the week as there were practitioner sessions/guest lectures planned for the weekend. This is the time where industry experts talk about their experiences and relate those experiences with our course curriculum. It is an enriching and satisfying experience as it's nowhere else that we would have access to such stalwarts in normal life. There were times where we feel frustrated and the frustration levels peak out and one feels like giving up. But always remember that coal becomes a diamond under extreme heat and pressure. So all's well that ends well. I am extremely grateful to IMTH for transforming my personality 360 degrees and catapulting me to a successful life. So thank you so much, sir. That's about it.
So thanks a lot, Sandhya. Sandhya being Sandhya. I remember Sandhya, guys, was my student in my, if I'm not wrong, in my sales and distribution management class. And this vice president that you are seeing today is a very hardworking person. I mean, anything less than 9 or maybe 9.5 CGPA was not acceptable to Sandhya. I think Sandhya has carried that, and she has very well articulated the life of a student on a campus and how that particular learning is going to help in the progress of your career. So Sandhya will come back to you in case there are some questions. Okay, please keep your video on.
Sure.
And now let me invite Saurav. Saurav Singh, who passed out in the year 2020, also was a very important member of student placements on campus. So sort of your experiences and your role and your profile, please.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, first of all, inviting me to this, wonderful session where I can guide some of the students who are in the seat where I was maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago on how to choose a good MBA college for myself. But before I go into my introduction and other pointers, I would just add on to Sandhya's point of getting used to the good mess food by our time, and which allowed me to be friends with all the mess people on Facebook. So yeah, with that, I think I'll go to my introduction. You all got to know my name is Saurabh. I'm currently working with the Amazon Vision Operation Center, which is sub part of Amazon Robotics. And this particular team helps other teams across Amazon with whatever machine learning or whatever programs related to robotics that they require help with. So as of now, I am working with the fulfillment centers in US, and we are helping them design this machine learning model wherein the machine can itself judge where a particular product is being stored by the associate who is working in the fulfillment center. So by that, we'll be able to find the product whenever required at a quicker and faster pace for us to ship it at a faster pace to the customers. So that is primarily, the role. Obviously, it involves the Pathak sir was talking about the rotation, where we take on different roles within our role to help organization in whatsoever we can. So I am currently leading a team of 40 people who are engineers, and they are looking into all these kind of jobs that they are getting on a day-to-day basis from the fulfillment center in case the machine is not able to judge. So by their manual input, the machine learns over a period of time. So that is about my job. And then moving on to the next point about how IMT Hyderabad has been instrumental in shaping your career. I think personally speaking, it was maybe not very similar to my other colleagues that were part of my batch, because I had a work ex of around 3 years when I joined the college. So I got to interact with a lot of freshers, but at the same time, how IMT helped me is providing me the infrastructure, providing me the setup and the bandwidth to work on the things I wanted to work on. So it provided me all the good things than any good business school would provide you. So now I understood it quickly within no time that what can I extract out of this particular environment that I am getting, right? So it eventually it comes down to you. Like you are good professors, you have all the course materials, where the pedagogy is good, but what are you looking to extract out of it is something that you have to decide. And the culture that was maintained throughout by my professors and the people involved in the entire process, maybe at the back end as well, just allowed us to focus on things we wanted to do and just allowed us to explore multiple other things. So that is, I think, my biggest support from IMT Hyderabad was. So that really helped me. I'm moving on to the third part as well, like experience on campus using the second pointer. So this became for me is a location where I'm getting my own room, and I have a 33-acre lush green campus. I am now my own master when I have to wake up, because I have these many tasks to do. So I am deciding my day, I am planning my day out, where I want to involve, where I do not want to get involved, where I'm getting ROI from, and maybe experimenting something and then saying no to it. So all this, was the journey throughout 2 years. It wasn't that I made certain decisions 3 months and then I didn't change that. I was eventually, I think Anirban sir is here as well. I was eventually part of admissions as well, which I had no connections to when I joined IMT. I was a proud member of the student committee of placement. I am wearing that hoodie right now, which has a motto of one for all for one. That we were ready to give it all for one student as well, who was requiring ourselves from a placement point of view. I hope that is being continued in the campus right now. That is, I would want to see the legacy run like that. So that was my experience, that I am able to extract at my will whatever I wanted to extract out of that campus or the entire ecosystem. Now, coming on to my advice for you to join any club committees without any bias of me being a member of placement committee, I would say that is also a take you have to, that is also a call you have to take. It has to be decided by you by a mere fact that what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself extracting something out of, right? I was part of certain clubs which I didn't continue. I had a fair conversation. I left that club and eventually put more efforts in other clubs. So how for personally speaking, how I saw it for myself, I had a very hectic day with placement committee. Obviously, we had a day in day out job. So what I did to balance it out is join the dramatics club. So my first performance as in the dramatics club, and my aura that I had to maintain in placement committee. When I was on stage and after the performance, many juniors were like, "We didn't recognize that it was you." For a quite good time that we didn't recognize, because we are not used to seeing you like that. So it kind of helped me live two lives in a way, right? I am enjoying my dramatics bit because I want to be part of that. I actually went on to become the POC for that as well. So had certain responsibilities there as well. And I was in a setup where day in, day out, maybe there have been days I have spent a week in suits, like continuous day after day. I was in suits only, where my colleagues might be having a gala time after their classes and everything. So I think that then it again I'll most importantly summarize it in a way that what are you looking to extract out of any business school wherever you decide to go. It will come down to you, and IMT Hyderabad doesn't leave anything for you to not take it out of it. So that is I think my experience.
So thank you, Saurav. Thanks for your well articulated views in terms of your job, your role, as well as your stay on campus. And I can probably take 2 points from what Sandhya and Saurav have said. So what Sandhya has said is, guys, if you love to enjoy rigor, IMT Hyderabad is the place to be. And what Saurav says is, you are entitled to get one single room. You know why I'm talking about this? As admission chair, I have come across requests. People have come and said, कि sir, हम दो लोग साथ ही रहना चाहते हैं, because we have friends. So whether you want, you don't want, in that case, you know what I did? I ensured that both the friends are on 3 different floors, nowhere close by. So you come here to become an independent professional, and we are there to facilitate that particular process. Now, guys, maybe if we have some questions from the participants, probably we'll again ask Sandhya and Saurav to respond. Moving on, let me quickly share with you guys this shortlisting process for the IMT admissions. So this year, this is one point which I wanted to talk about. The IMT group has decided that we would like to have profile-based admission. What it means is, for people who have got exceptional work experience, like Saurav was talking about that he had 3+ years of experience, right? Or people who have come with exceptional profile, coming from good institutions with very consistent academic background, even if their aptitude test score happens to be a good 2 to 3 percentile less, we would not like to lose on those candidates, right? From whatever cutoffs we have set. So we are trying to encourage people with work experience, and that too relevant work experience, and people who are academically brilliant, or people who have represented the country or represented their state at national or international level on competitions, that they can apply. And in those cases, we don't mind reducing the cutoff by about 3 to 4 percentile, invite them for the admission process, and if they do well in the admission process, they may as well get the offer. And the last slide, this is in brief about the selection process, which I think you guys would be aware by now because you have been visiting our websites. Only thing which I would like to emphasize here is your selection at IMT, whether it is Hyderabad, Nagpur or Ghaziabad, is a function of your performance in critical thinking test, your performance in personal interview, the academic scores you have in 10th, 12th and graduation, your aptitude test score, whether it is CAT, XAT and CMAT for Nagpur and Hyderabad, your work experience, and the kind of academic diversity you bring to the class. And a cumulative weighted score of this is going to help or going to decide your case whether you're going to be given the offer or you may not get the offer. So with this, I'm done with the part that we wanted to present for IMT Hyderabad. Now, let me just open the chat and see if there are any questions. Maybe Priya, if there have been any questions on the YouTube live, if that can be posted, then quickly we'll try to answer some of the questions and then invite IMT Nagpur to do their presentation as far as IMT Nagpur campus is concerned. Priya? And maybe another 2 minutes in case there is nothing getting posted there in the chat. I would again like to ask Sandhya and Saurav just quickly to also elaborate on one more point. See, I mean, you have been attending so many courses and so many classes and all that, you are part of the groups and all. I'm sure you would have come across situations where certain members of the groups had not been contributing or were not doing the way you wanted to. How did you balance out those situations, and how is that helping you in your corporate life? Quickly, in about a line or two. First, maybe Saurav and then Sandhya.
Sure. I learned a very good thing from my professor in HR, Professor Pavan. So what he had done is created a system wherein we would have been rating our own peers as a group. So that's one effective way from the professor, applied from the professor. The other thing which I think is the real essence of Dhananjay's question is that what did I do when my peers were not doing it? So right, I had to give I was looking at a deadline and I had to present it maybe
Yes,
to
sure.
the
We'll be
finance
posting the
professor.
queries as per the queries we have received.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
please. Yeah, sort of. Go on.
Sure.
Yeah. So I had to give a presentation to one of the known finance professors, and he wants it on time, and some people are not contributing it. So what do I do in that situation is maybe already deciding the part that others have to do, and we were as sure that because time is a constraint, real constraint, if we do not get it, we'll take it as a team, and maybe we'll lose out on everything on a big chunk of marks because that portion would not be presented then. This would motivate others to just not sit it out, but rather at least do their bit, so that it becomes a team effort, and then eventually we get to learn from others' parts as well, whatever they have done. So we would do small chunks, teach, educate each other in much smaller time, and then within that time frame we would be able to close multiple projects as well.
Okay, Saurav. Sandhya, quickly your point, because there are 3-4 questions. I'll quickly answer, then give the platform to Imt Nagpur.
So basically what I feel is that right now I'm managing a team. So I used to be very restless as a student when I had to do group assignments and I had to coordinate between 5 different set of people all the time with different backgrounds, with different frames of minds, and it was very difficult for me to gather all the thoughts together and put it in a productive way that it aligns to the strategic goals of the team as a whole. So it is important that we have high EQ. I know that we are not born with that. Maybe we can work towards it, because it is always necessary to understand what the other person is also thinking. So you cannot always be strongly opinionated, and you cannot always think that your way is the best way. You have to always have this innate sense of communication, be very clear in communication, and take inputs from everybody, because everybody has got something or the other to bring on table. So a collective effort would always help us doing that. And I'm sure the stress levels would also go down with communication, because that is the key in everything.
Right. So thanks, Sandhya. So what I'll do is I think there are about 3-4 questions on the selection process. I'll quickly answer that, and then probably we can invite the guest from Imt Nagpur. The first question is from Pranjali. It says, is Imt Nagpur and Hyderabad the compulsory? Yeah, so Pranjali, Imt Nagpur and Imt Hyderabad, in fact Imt Ghaziabad, all our programs are residential programs, and for Imt Hyderabad the fee of 12.03 lakhs includes your hostel stay. So hostel fee is part of your total fee, and I think the same is the case with Imt Nagpur as well. Then there is a question from Neetu Kumari. What is the cutoff for Imt Hyderabad? So Neetu, I cannot be very precise as far as the cutoff is concerned for this year, but if I go by the cutoffs for last year, it was 75, but at the latest stage it was reduced by 70. It was brought down to 72 or 73 for CAT and ZAT, and 85 for CMAT. But what is going to be the cutoff for this year? That call will be taken by the admissions committee. Then there is again a question from Pranjali, who says, is there any weightage for each section of CAT? I don't think we have an weightage for each section of CAT. We have a cumulative weightage, and if you meet that particular cutoff, you stand a good chance to get a call. I think I'm done. Okay, for one last question. 56% in ZAT, Jeevan, I'm sorry, you do not stand any chance to get any call. Maybe if you're interested in Imt Hyderabad, then you have to think of writing CMAT, do really well, try to score in excess of 90, and then maybe you have stand a chance of getting a call. So I think admission is going to be profile based. Will freshers be given less importance? I'm sorry, this does not mean that the freshers are going to be given less importance. This only means we want the process to be more accommodative. which means we don't want to lose on, let's say, work experience people who are not meeting the cutoff in the normal circumstances, to reduce the cutoff by 2 to 3 percentile, get those people in the process, and then check how they're performing in the admission process. So this no way means that the freshers stand to lose or freshers do not stand to gain. This is only a way of accommodating people who have got work experience, right? So I think keeping in mind the constraint of time, and there's one more question from Himanshu. He says, is it a compulsory residential program? The answer is yes. If you join IMT Hyderabad, even if you're staying just 1 kilometer away from the campus, you have to be on campus, right? It's a residential program. So with this, we'll close the session.
Dhananjay,
Yes,
sorry to
yes.
cut in between. There is one more question. I'm so sorry. This is CMAT 2022 is delayed. So can we still apply for IMT?
Yeah. So again, good question. You can still apply for IMT. What will happen is we'll call you for the admission process under the no test category, right? And your offer would be conditional. And once your results are out, you'll be submitting your score. If you meet our cutoffs, then the conditional offer becomes the final offer. And in case you do not meet the cutoff, you know what's going to happen, right? So I would now like to thank the Dean Academics, Professor Chakrapani, the head CRO, Mr. Prakash Pathak, and my two great alumni, Sandhya and Saurav, for having shared their views and having provided information to the students. And I wish them all the very best. And now I would like to request the team from Imt Nagpur to kindly start their presentation. So let me close my Harish Pandey. I think there is somebody saying, is 79% in CAT good enough for IMT Hyderabad? Yes, it is good enough for IMT Hyderabad. I think you can apply. So let me close this, sir, Pawan sir.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot, everybody from team IMT Hyderabad.
Thank you, Dhananjay.
If anyone needs any help additionally offline, please do let us know as well. Let me know. I can speak for myself.
So Pawan sir, now you can share your slide.
Sure. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Pawan Jain. I'm the admission chairperson, Imt Nagpur. Welcome you all on this YouTube live session on information about IMT campuses. So today we have with us Professor Anil Kumar. I would request all the panel members to just keep the videos on so that we can introduce you one by one. Professor Anil Kumar is the chairperson, program chairperson at IMT Nagpur. We have Ms. Vidya. She is the placement head at IMT Nagpur, and we have got two alumni from the previous batches who will be talking to you about their experiences in IMT Nagpur campus. So this is going to be the agenda. I'll be introducing you to the IMT Nagpur. Then the panel members. Professor Anil Kumar would be making a presentation on academic programs. Ms. Vidya would be talking to you on the placement status IMT Nagpur has achieved so far in this year. Then Mr. Anand Kharad and Ms. Tanvi Pandey would be talking to you, the alumni. They will be talking to you about their experiences. And finally, we'll be taking questions from all of you. So to begin with, IMT Nagpur was established in 2004. It has got a 27-acre lush green campus. You can see the pictures in your screen. And with all the infrastructure required for an excellent learning environment. So we have got all smart classrooms with well equipped with the latest technology. And this has been done not before the COVID started, but it has been long been there. We have 2 sports grounds, library with full of books, journals, everything, whatever is needed to complete your assignments and your work and everything. We have got 4 hostel buildings which can house close to 750 students in the campus. And of course, the program is completely residential. Professor Anil Kumar is the chairperson, program chairperson at IMT Nagpur. I'll be handing over the stage to Professor Anil Kumar so that he can speak to you about the programs we offer at IMT Nagpur, what extra efforts we have taken to ensure that the learning continues even during COVID programs, and what uniqueness we offer at IMT Nagpur programs. Over to you, Professor Anil Kumar. I will be running these slides, please.
I think you're on mute. Anil sir, you're on mute.
Okay, just
Unmute yourself. We couldn't hear you any.
okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, please carry on.
Okay. Let me start once more. Thank you, Pawan. So let me introduce about the programs which we are going to offer here today. So before telling about the programs, we have built a huge capacity to switch anytime from, say, a physical mode to an online mode or hybrid mode, which we call here. We have an infrastructure laid well before the COVID also. And although we have added few software in our kitty to do these things quite smoothly, you might have heard about Moodle, or you can say Team or Zoom, and all those things are very common term these days. So we have switched to that particular mode. And nowadays, every time government says move physical to online, online to physical, so within say a notice of few hours, we can switch from one mode to another. That is a capacity which every campus has these days. We also have this capacity. So let me introduce about the programs. There are three categories of programs which are being offered here. At IMT Nagpur, we have PGDM, which is we call that PGDM core. Then we have PGDM marketing and PGDM finance. So these three areas are there, where, as you know, the name refers itself. PGDM marketing, the major area will be the one which is called marketing. Similarly, PGDM finance management will have a major area called finance. Apart from that, we have a concept of dual, to do in our campus also. Dual means you can have a dual area. Two areas can be. So you can, these alumni can also tell you that what this is we are offering earlier also. And you can do a specialization in two areas. That's what we offer in that. PGDM of students have the full liberty to pick any area after first year also they can decide. But for the other two areas, this is confirmed that they will be doing one of the area will be the major area in which they are pursuing the PGDM. Now come to the right hand side. There are functional areas listed here. If you say marketing, finance, HR and OB, operations. So these are the major areas. Although people always prefer to do marketing, finance as the major areas, but there are few students, those who are doing major in HR also, and some of them have already started doing a major in business analytics and information technology here. So these are the major areas where people like to do their PGDM and they want to pursue their career in that. So they pick according to that. Can we go to the next one? Pawan, next slide, yes. So as far as program structure is concerned, as you know, it's a 2 years residential program. We have a first year where people get to know about all areas in that way. So first two terms are common across all three PGDM programs. If you see the third term, you'll find there is a small change. We have introduced a concept called Flexi Core. Flexi Core is nothing, but it gives an opportunity to every student. So according to their career, according to their aim, objective, they can decide which subjects they want to study. This was not there earlier. I think those students, those who are there as sitting as alumni, they can easily, now they are not students rather. At their student time, they might not have this offer of Flexi Core of thing. So a few years back, we have offered this one where we say, yes, you decide what you want to study from other areas or from your major areas, whatever it is. So this is the new thing which we have introduced 2-3 years back. This is running very well in that way, students. So we give every year, we change the list, which is a relevant one, which every functional area should go through that one. So every faculty or area chair decides these are the offers which we want to make here. So this is the major change which we made here. If you see the list of Flexi Core, which is currently being run in our campus, just show the list here. These are the areas and these are the subjects which they might have missed in the core. So they may get another opportunity to pick those areas, pick those subjects rather, or courses to get the part of the Flexi Core courses. So this is the additional thing which we have introduced a few years back here. So this is a plus point as far as our, if you see our mission statement, innovation is one thing which we always look for. This is the one innovation which we added here. Now come to the second year. If you see second year, as usual, Once your specialization is decided, you decided, yes, this is my first specialization, this is my second. So you have to decide which all electives you have to choose. So in term 3, you decide which are the electives which you want to pursue here. If you see here, there are strategy courses. One strategy course is in term 4, other strategy course is in term 5, apart from the elective courses. So there is an ample opportunity to do all these electives. And if you see here, 12 electives are there in offer. 12 plus 2 flexi core, you can have 14 specific courses which can be part of your specialization, correct? So which is divided into 2 areas. Or you can have a solo area also where you can say, I want to study this as a more. So this can also be decided in that way. But we always like to have a very, say, breadth-wise, some more electives should be covered. So we always prefer to students to have 2 areas in their kitty in that way. And that will always helpful for placement also to place the students in that way. So this is the kitty of, say, 12 electives which we normally give. So if you see the bifurcation here, if you see the total credits, 112 credits are there, which, and in between you will have a good lengthy summer internship also. Summer internship means it will be a program which you have to go outside to the campus, interact with industry, work there. And it is almost 8 to 10 weeks. Sometimes students get a 3 months program also. So we also give them opportunity to continue the 3 months program also sometimes, but not always. Only few students get this opportunity. So we extend that SIP term also, because that may lead to a pre-placement kind of offer. So they may get a placement offer after the end of the SIP also. And this has happened earlier also. So if you see the bifurcation, just show the next slide. And the whole program structure, if I show you the bifurcation, it is like this. We have 22 core courses and 14 elective courses. So it's almost 60-40 ratios there among the credits, among the courses which we are going to study here. So it's a good combination as per the AICT norms also. So we follow the AICT standard structure which they have offered to us, and we break the things according to that one here. Apart from these credit courses, we have a kitty of, say, non-credit courses where we have say MIC quizzes, lectures, or say industry lectures, the foundation terms. So these also cover the thing which may be helpful in case of placements, or your for further grooming as a personality, or your functional skills can be enhanced. So all those things can be, or you may also get an opportunity with industry people to interact with them. So all these opportunities are there, which is in the form of non-credit components. Earlier it was credit components, but nowadays we have made it a non-credit one because we can't tamper with the credit system as such. So it is still there, and they are also evaluated in some of the other ways, and you will definitely get benefited out of that when you are going for the company, when you are placing, when you are going to sit in a company. Definitely these sessions which you have done earlier will be helpful for you. So let's move ahead. Now, as far as the specialization is concerned, we have specializations offered in 4th, 5th, and 6th term. So first 3 terms are basically called as which are the part of the first year, but from second year onwards we have just move back. Okay, so this is a say we have a 3 ways of picking elective these days. Earlier we simply used to say 12 specialization you have to do in 2, but nowadays we have made a 3 combinations here. Either you say dual, where you have 6 from each specialization, or you can say sometimes major and minor. In that case, we say you take 6 from one, 4 from others, and 2 from other compulsory other course areas in that way. But we also give opportunity to PGDM students, especially, so that they can have a one specialization. They can say, yes, I want to do one major, and all other I want to do a vanilla courses from other areas also, because I want to have exposure in analytics also, economics also, HR also. So I want to have all those skills for being a good manager in that way. So people always sometimes go for a single specialization also. So this is the 3 types of offers which we make to them. So they decide beforehand when they get in term 3 that how we are going to do our specialization. Either it will be dual specialization mode, major minor specialization, or a single specialization. So this is the thing which we have experienced over a period of time, and we change our strategy according to the students' need in that way. So it's a student-centric kind of thing which we have introduced 2 years back, where students decide, yes, in this manner I want to do, because this demand used to come from students only, that we want to do in single one. Why can't you allow that one? So we allow, we have made it as an option to them in that case. This is how we are offering it. Yes, let's move ahead. Now, this is the thing which we have, what would like to emphasize more this time, because we have computer lab based. If you see a list on the left hand side where we have a lab here means computer lab or some system is being involved. So these subjects you see here, statistics or business analytics, PRM, business modeling, most of the analytics courses and all those things are there. It's R, Python, SAS. All these courses are using computer systems, and we have a full-fledged 3 labs for our students to go to do these courses in a more practical way. So these are practical oriented courses where almost 70 to 100% courses will be, sessions will be there in lab itself. So that's why we call them lab-based courses here. So this list is keep on increasing every year because people keep on adding new software every time. And they say, yes, we want to do this course using this particular lab environment in that case. So lab environment is created by the IT people, and we use those systems for carrying out those exercises on those subjects in that. This is how we, so this is increasing every year, year by year in that case. Now, if you come to the right-hand side, this is basically functional oriented labs. These are not computer labs. I can't say these are computer lab based courses. There is something called investment lab, marketing lab, leader. So far we have developed 3. And one more is, I'm not sure, economics lab is also some marketing scenario we are developing. That is also in the picture here. So in these labs, what we are doing, we are creating a holistic view, a comprehensive view of that particular subject. For example, investment lab, suppose you become an investment banker or manager in that case. So what you should have? You should be able to analyze companies, financials and everything, and then decide, yes, this is one which you have to go for, or which you should not go, or this is the current scenario. So there is a faculty who will definitely guide you. They will give you a simulation using the NSC portal, and that will be accessible to you. And using that portal, you will just decide, this is the money which I have, this is how I'm going to invest over a period of time. So it will be a live kind of lab which runs over 2 or 3 semester rather, or 2 or 3 terms rather in that case. So this gives you a full comprehensive view, a live view, how to become a particular, say, how this portfolio will definitely help you in that case. So you have to build that portfolio as far as investment is concerned. Similarly, in a marketing lab, if you see here, just one minute, Pawan, please go to the previous one. In the marketing lab, also same thing, starting from conceptual building to designing a product or to market a product, everything will be covered over a period of time. This is again a live, and this leads to few entrepreneurs. If you see in our campus, 2 or 3 groups have ultimately formed a group where they have form a company, a small company of selling products in that case. So this leads to that particular environment. Similarly, leadership lab is to enhance their leadership skill. So this is last year, the HR people had developed this lab also, and they take a small group of 10 to 12 students only. It's a very selective oriented. Those who have a leadership skills, you find that these students are good in leadership, so they are being chosen, and then only they will be offered this particular course. So these are the 3 functional specific courses which we offer in our campus. Next. Now, this is the initial thing, which is way back. It is there across the group. We always offer students to go to the Internships exchange program. Campus, and our campus students used to come from outside. We also send our students. So there are a number of seats every year. That seats vary. Sometimes it is 50, sometimes it is 20. And depending on that, student has to just only get selected. If they show interest, there's a minimum criteria for CGPA and their their language skills and everything will be interviewed by the persons here, and then decide, yes, these are the 20 or 30 students will go this year. That only thing is which you have to spend here is the visa fees or the traveling charges and all. Rest all you don't have to pay anything. So this is a very big opportunity. You will be away for a term, for example, term 3. So you will go to the other campus, say in France or somewhere exposure. You will get that exposure there, and from there you will come back, and those credits will be transferred to our structure in that way. So nothing big. Full term you will be away. You will be interacting with those students. Similarly, students from other campuses coming to our place, they get interacted, and a lot of mutual exchange will take place. So this is a very, very premier thing which we always, that students look for that when they want to go that. Only thing is minimal charges you have to bear as far as visa, travel and lodging is concerned. Otherwise, everything is free in that way. So this is included in that particular fee. If you see the list of those partnerships which we have, you see the huge list is there. And this is across all 3 campuses, whether it's there is a French institution, there is a German, there is a Paris School of Business, there is a Korean institution. Across all we have, and this list is every year, we keep on updating this one here. So you get enough exposure when you go to abroad and study with those students. Sometimes you may face language problems, but still you can cope up quite easily, because we always tell, yes, this is the primary language is English. So they always help you in guiding you in English. And similarly, when they come to our campus, we also tell them, yes, there should we have minimum standard of English in that way, because we teach that particular courses in that particular language. That is the only problem which people used to face. Otherwise, it's really an interesting one. Now, as far as accreditation and approvals is concerned, we have all the desired accreditation and approvals here. We are already AICTE approved college since 2006. So we are in our teens, if I say. Teens means we are in almost 17th or 18th year. and we don't mind in experimenting a lot of things here. If I say you this year what we are experimenting, we have a Harvard publishing courses are there. So we are offering those Harvard publishing certification courses, which we call international certification courses, which we are introducing this year. So this list is not included although here, but every year since we are in our teens, we are more enthusiastic to make some changes every year in our curriculum, as well as introducing new things here. So this time we have introduced a Harvard publishing courses in our curriculum, and these courses will be offered online to all the students. They have to finish those courses, get their certification, and then they will be eligible for placement. So this is what we have done this time. So we are keeping every time we add new things in. Now, apart from AICT approval, we are also already a member of Association of Indian Universities, which we call AIU. We are NBA accredited, and similarly, we are going to pursuing for international accreditation. SACS inspection is already over. ASESB is already in process. So we are striving to get these accreditation as soon as possible, so that we have an international visibility across the globe in that case. That's what we are striving for. That's all from my side. I hope everybody gets some knowledge, some more intense knowledge. So a lot of queries can be sorted out when you have this kind of discussions in place. That's all from my side. Thank you, Pawan.
Thank you, Professor. Now I would like to invite Ms. Vidya Srinivas, our placement head at Imt Nagpur. Vidya, if I'm correct, we are probably reaching to 100% placement in a day or two. You are on mute, Vidya.
Good afternoon, everyone. That's a brilliant way to start the presentation.
Chalo, over to you, Vidya. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pawan sir. Thank you so much, Professor Anil. An amazing insight of what we are doing as an institution, and that speaks volumes about how we have really grown and risen to be one of the best premium institutions in the country. Well, I am just 3 students down to become 100%. And that speaks about volumes of efforts that has gone into training students, making sure that they are industry ready. And there has been an equal participation from the faculties, from the alumni, from the corporates to make sure that this dream is fulfilled. So we're expecting a result tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be 100% by tomorrow is what is there up in the cards. Talking about the placement statistics, I'm really elated to speak to you on the performance of Imt Nagpur, and we have really done well. COVID, no COVID doesn't make a difference. We are very resilient, and the kind of results that we have produced in the last batch, that is 21, and the current batch of 22, we've really done well, and the statistics is in front of each one of you. Well, we have placed, so just one sec.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we have placed 97%. So and if you say it's 98 to be precise, we just left with 2%. So the highest packages that has gone is around 23.5 lakhs, and the averages have been 9.79, which is very, very promising and very overwhelming to all of us. The median is around 8.25. The top 10 students percentage, in terms of percentage, their average packages have been around 14.66. Top 20% students have bagged around 12.14 lakhs as package, and around top 40, their averages have been around 10.46. The number of companies that have visited is around 55, and the new recruiters have been 28. And who's who of the corporate world have come to campus. We just one down of Google, and probably the next year would have Google also in place. So so the companies that have visited us, that these are the major companies. So I'm not mentioned the entire list, but the major companies that have visited us are in front of you. So to name a few, we have in finance, we have CRISIL, we have Deloitte, we have KPMG. In marketing, we have Kimji, we have Nielsen, we have CPAL. This year, we have seen 3 international companies coming up and hiring our students. So yes, the international markets have also opened up. So then in HR, we have eClerx, Infosys, HCL. In BA IT, this has the best part that IMT Nagpur has, which distinguishes itself from any other institution, is the dual specializations, which gives us a broad spectrum in terms of choice of companies, and then the companies also have a variety of talent pool that they can hire from. So BAIT has really done well this year, and some phenomenal names out there, whether it's Cognizant, Capgemini, Tata Tech, MCure, Reliance Retail, and so on and so forth. And operations, we have had very few numbers as students, so obviously the number of companies were also less. But I believe if you see the number of companies has been 55, but we have managed to place almost all of our students. So that speaks of the quality of our students. If a company wanted to hire 3, they have hired 10, and thus they had a very, very difficult choice in terms of picking up the right candidate. Well, that's the highest and average packages profile wise. For finance, the highest went to around 19 lakhs. For marketing, it went to a 23.5. For HR, OB, we had 9.1. For BID, we had 15 lakhs, and operations, we had 8 lakhs. So that's the highest, and the averages are already mentioned in front of you. We can move to the next slide, sir. So the top recruiters, as I've already mentioned, we had some brilliant names. They have been first-time visitors. Quite a few of them have been first-time visitors. And when I talk about placements, it's the most passionate thing that's there in, and that has been there in my entire career journey. I have been a professor, but placements has been the forefront for me, because that's where we make careers for students, and that's where we make careers for the nation. So getting these top recruiters to campus is a very elating thing, and the kind of efforts that we have put in is tremendous. So if we can move to the next slide, Pavan sir. Well, you need to know your product before you sell it. So I believe that we have taken the right steps. REST analysis has played a very, very critical role in terms of assessing the students, where we have taken the student through a reflection, evaluation, strategic planning, and then training them, and in terms of building their strengths and working on their weaknesses. So the REST played a very critical role. Then we had hired a couple of agencies to do the training, which again built up the placement pipeline beautifully. We have continuous interactions. As I said, it's a 3-pronged strategy. Faculties get involved, the alumni get involved, the corporates get involved in terms of training the students. So we have experts say pooch, we have boot camps, and we have various levels of alumni engagement, and thus we get to the results. So the new thing that we have started off again is a buddy mentoring system, where the placement team becomes the buddy of say 10 to 15 students. They completely take the onus of them in terms of their dilemmas, in terms of their apprehensions, and any difficulties in understanding the job descriptions, and thus the churning out becomes faster. So the right kind of planning creates right kind of results, and I think we were well planned, and we executed it well, and thus we have done a phenomenal job today in the industry. Well, that's about placements, and I'm sure you would have many questions to ask, and I'm here around, and it'll be fun to address each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidya, for talking about the placement data and everything so nicely. Now, let me bring to you Mr. Anand Kharat. He is the alumni of batch 2011-13. Currently working as Associate Vice President Investment Banking, Allegro Capital. Over to you, Anand.
Thank you everyone. Congratulations to the whole Imt Nagpur team for a successful year. Thank you, Pavan sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak my 2 cents to the upcoming students. So hi everyone. As Pavan sir said, I'm working in the investment banking division of Allegro Capital. As of today, from tomorrow, I'll be joining a private equity firm. So you are the first bunch of people to know that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think my journey has been being coming from a fresher and from a business background, I think B school was a big step for all of us in the family as well. When deciding on college, IMT obviously resonates as a good brand, and you want to be part of such institutions, right, in the future, because it not only helps in bringing your career to a different level, but you also develop a lot of networking skills, right? You also develop a lot of connections which help you in your future. During part of my IMT journey, the biggest learning was obviously you learn academics, and that is the prime objective of doing an MBA. And I can during the course of the presentation, I've seen how the academic chairperson and everyone work together to develop new strategies to give more out of what is needed from the 2-year course, right? But along with that, what you also learn, I think more critically, is being part of a team, being independent. You have to manage your time very well, as have been pointed out by a lot of people that team management, time management is very, very critical, given that you are always crunch with time in an academic course which runs to 2 years. While it may seem like a long journey, but the days, the semesters, the trimester pass extremely, extremely quickly. Learning how to manage yourself, how to manage a team, and there will be multiple times where you'll be working on an assignment where there are 5 people, six people involved. How to get the most out of those 6 people is extremely important, and directly, indirectly, someone becomes a leader in the team, right? Where you will manage the whole team, where you will make sure that the goals are set and everything, right? During the course of the presentation, during the course of what you do. One also important aspect that everyone should look out for is networking. Given that there will be tons of alumni interaction, there will be tons of corporate lectures and all of that. Networking is extremely, extremely critical. In fact, I mean, one of my internship offers came from JP Morgan, and was because of the fact that I was part of that guest lecture and had impressed the ED, the executive director that had come on the lecture side to give the lecture. So actually, he gave me an offer to an internship at JP Morgan Bangalore as well. So all of these things are extremely critical. You should know. You should not consider corporate lectures and alumni interactions as one-off events. Those are times where you can shine apart from the crowd and show what you are truly made of. You have to also understand that a lot of us are freshers that come for an MBA, and a lot of us have work experience as well, right? The biggest takeaway for a fresher like me was to focus on what I want to do. For me, I was very, very clear that I want to be someone who loves finance. So I took up a majors in finance where I had 10 subjects, but I also took up economics because I feel that economics was an integral part of what you do day to day. And obviously, I want to do investment banking all throughout, and so that becomes a critical aspect as well. The teachers, the professors have been accommodative during my time. So I've studied under Pawan sir. I've studied under Sayan Banerjee sir, and so many other professors, right? In fact, I remember during my second year, I had given 2 additional exams for courses I was not even part of. The professors were convenient and accommodative enough to even allow me to do that, because I felt that there are only 15 courses that you can take electives, right? And those 2 electives which I wanted to be part of were very, very important. I felt so. I had studied for them during my course in the second year, and I eventually ended up giving the exams for that as well. Another important aspect for a residential program is that you get to be part of forums. So I was part of the finance forum when during my tenure at Imt Nagpur. I would encourage, I think, all of you to be actively considerate, to be active and consider joining a forum or a committee. It helps not only in developing you as a person, but you become extremely independent. You realize the importance of working in, let's say, and forums and committees are bigger, right? So there are 15, 20 people in forums and committees. You develop the skill, the knack of working together with 20 people. There will be ups and downs. There will be a lot of disagreements among team members, but that is how it is in corporate life as well, right? So that is extremely important that you be part of forums. You become someone that a finance committee person or a marketing forum person, people look up to you. They expect you to help them whenever they need some assistance. Especially there are a lot of people coming from engineering background, arts background, who may or may not know finance as a commerce graduate. So it is your responsibility also to help them as well. I think all in all, if you look holistically, right, and when I look back 8 years or 8.5 years, uh, how I was, I mean, those 2 years actually shaped me a lot, because coming from a family where you've been in your family for the last 20 years, right? It's important that now you've gone out, become independent, from not only managing your work, managing your assignments, but also washing your clothes, making sure that your food is ready at times when you don't like the mess food, when you want to go out, you don't have time, late night chatting with friends, partying, and all of that. All of that is extremely critical. And you will realize 8 years, 5 years, 7 years down the line that this is how corporate world is. You work hard, you party even harder, and that is how you will enjoy spending time at IMT. And obviously, it's a beautiful campus. It's far away from the city. There is no noise. You will enjoy your time there. There are humongous spaces to play football, golf, badminton, so many other things that you can do. And I wish all of you will have a pleasant time in whatever campus you are selected for in IMT. And I wish everyone all the best in your career.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you very much. On the lighter note, probably you forgot to tell them that you got your wife from the campus only, right?
Yes. I met my wife in the campus. She was also part of the finance forum. Yes, we've been married for 5 years now.
Good. Good. Thank you, Anand. Okay, so let's have Tanvi on the screen. Tanvi,
Thank you,
category
sir.
manager with Amazon, Imt Nagpur batch 2016-18 alumni. Hi, Tanvi.
Hi, sir. Hi. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be here and actually speak about my experience. Hi, everybody. Hi. A very good afternoon to all of you. So, I have done my PGDM major in marketing and minor in HR and OB. To start with, I'll quickly give a brief about my corporate journey. I'm currently, as Pawan sir said, I'm currently working as a category manager at Amazon. Primarily, I'm looking towards the growth of categories like toys and games, kitchen furniture, and mobile phones. I basically help the Indian sellers of these categories to expand and boost their businesses in the US marketplace. Prior to this, I was working with Paytm close to 3 years as a national accounts manager, where I was looking after the growth and expansion in portfolio of brands like Shoppers Stop, Pantaloons, Chroma, etc. So I've also had a chance to manage a team of 4 under me there, and I was looking after the partnerships and alliances for the payments business. So this has been my 4 year working journey post IMT. Moving on to my IMT journey, I think I totally agree with what all Anant just said. Every day at IMT was a different day, along with multiple learning experiences for me. Not just professionally, but those 2 years also groomed me immensely on the personal front. I was away from the family for the first time, just a graduate, fresher. I had no experience, but the transformation that I've had in those 2 years was immense. I was much more confident, independent, and mature when I moved out of IMT Nagpur. So I understand that curriculum is a very important aspect of a MBA program, but apart and along with the curriculum, being a part of multiple committees and forums where we worked as student managers in multiple departments, to attending guest lectures, to taking interviews of the industry experts, speaking with them, it actually made me learn the practicality of the corporate world, which genuinely helps me till date also in my corporate journey. I was a part of the corporate communication committee because I loved writing and I wanted to explore digital marketing and PR. But I'm 100% sure that IMT Nagpur has all of you will have something of your interest, and you will get that at IMT Nagpur. IMT Nagpur will offer you everything of your interest, and you will have multiple options to explore with respect to committees and forums. Um, I believe working with deadlines is one very, very important skill to be honed if you are looking at a career in the corporate. And we used to work towards organizing multiple events, CXO conclaves, MUN, alumni meets, publishing them on multiple social media portals. So all these exposure along with the curriculum helped me build that, working in the crunched deadline environment, and also help me build other relevant skills like decision making, team building, planning, and actually executing it. While being a part of a committee or a forum, you actually get to work with 20 mindsets. You work with 10 to 15 people who come with different background, different perspectives. They will have different perspective on maybe everything differently than you have. So working with them actually made me learn how to actually work with the team, how team works, how you run a team, how you manage a team. So yes, being a part of any committee or forum is going to help you immensely. Then, since I was very fond of reading, we had LRC, which we call Learning Resource Center. So it gave me ample amount of resources and relevant information of the fields of my interest. And I actually got to know about the opportunities that multiple sectors had to offer. I actually got to know what I was looking at, what field I was interested in. So yes, that the amount of resources that I've got there was also very helpful. All the professors at the institute come from a very, very rich experience, and they have added immensely in my learning and knowledge curve. So yes, all in all, I am very, very grateful to be associated and be a part of alumni, as an alumni of IMT Nagpur. And I wish all of you a very, very best, whichever campus you guys go at. I'm sure the brand is going to help you succeed.
Right, Tanvi. So just tell us this picture of yours, when it was taken.
This picture was actually taken at the campus only. It was the batch photo shoot. So at the end of second year, we used to have a batch photo shoot with our committee, with our classmates. Everybody used to get decked up and dressed in saris and suits. And a fun day. I still remember that day, very fun day. And we were all dressed up and we were there in the campus clicking pictures with our batch mates and committee mates and everybody, with professors. So yes, it is a very fond memory.
No sessions on that day, right?
No session. No sessions on that. Only fun. Food and fun.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tanvi, and thank you, Anant. Probably we will need your help while we will be addressing the queries for the participants. Just to be on the closing the things. My colleague, Professor Dhananjay, has already covered the admission process, what you will be going through. What I would like to talk about is what exactly we are looking for a candidate who is seeking admission at IMT Nagpur and other campuses of IMT, good communication skills, not just during the process, admission process, but 2 years when you are at the campus, and post that when you are joining the corporate world. Ability to manage time, this is something which you will need during your 2 years at IMT campus, because there will be so many things to do. You will be part of committee, and then you will have to meet the deadlines which every professor will give you to submit the assignments and the projects. The networking skill is something which Anant has already talked about. The career focused has to be the approach when you are coming to join. Analytical and problem solving attitude is not only required during the admission process, but when you are leaving the campus, joining the corporate world, then these two things is something which which should be there. So that's all, and this is the details where you can contact us. The email is admissions@imtnag.ac.in, and you can call us on these numbers which are there on the screen. And then our website is the imtnag.ac.in/admissions. This is a slide which you must save, or this is a slide which you can take the screenshot of, and you can call us, you can contact us for further queries. That's all from my side. Now I would like to take a few questions here. Okay. Please share some details about the critical thinking round. The critical thinking round, Sakshi, would be, you will be given a topic, and then you will be given some time to write about it. And then these topics might be abstract topics. These topics might be related with the current affairs. These topics might be related with, the things happening around you. So that is the details about the critical thinking round. Is the entire GDPI round online or offline? GDPI round is entirely online. You will be sharing the links and the details about the schedule and everything shortly. Imt Nagpur shortlisting process will start. Yes, very shortly. You will be getting the communication maybe by the end of this week, or maybe 1st or 2nd of February. That is by then. I'm IT guy not reading, that is what Kaustav is asking. I'm IT guy not reading newspapers, so little bit scared about critical thinking. Kaustav, still there are some 15 days to start the process. If you start today, of course, 15 days, I'm not saying a good time, but then of course you can have some cushion so that you can face the critical thinking round. When we say top 10%, top 25% of batch, what makes a student come in that top 10%? Can freshers be in top 10? See, this top 10% or top 20%, top 40%, we have taken it as say there are 300 students. So top 30%, what average package they have got. We will take the top packages and we will average them out, and that is what the 10% top 10% package is there. Freshers being top 10%, yes, it has nothing to do with the fresher or nothing to do with the person with the work experience. You can be there if you are able to get that kind of package from the companies. How many seats are there in Imt Nagpur for PGDM? There are 360 seats of where we will be inviting applications for. That is all. The 120 seats are in core, 120 seats are in finance, and 120 seats in market. Anything else? Is eligibility for students exchange program, and how many students can go for the program? See, the eligibility is it depends purely on your academic records. How many students can go for the program? That is up to the requirement of the other institution, partner institution. Suppose there are 10 or 20 or 30 students requirement, so we will be accordingly inviting applications that much, and we will be sending that many numbers to the partner institution. Yatin I am a GEM candidate with engineering and a 77.14 percentile in CAT. Can I expect a call from Imt Nagpur? Yatin, last year the CAT percentile was 75, at which we invite applications, 70 percentile at which we invite applications. So on the basis of that past experience, I can say that yes, you have very good chance to get a call from Imt Nagpur. But keep that in mind that we not only take the CAT percentile as CAT percentile scores, but your overall profile as well to send you the call. Virender, do you consider sectional cutoff? No, Virender, we do not. we look at only the overall CAT scores. Okay. Four years after my graduation, will it affect my selection? See, you need to justify why this gap was there, and you must have proper, documentary evidences if you're working somewhere or if you're, busy with some other venture of yours. Of course, if you are able to justify, if you are able to convince the interview panel that yes, you stand good chance for the selection. Process for applying.
Can I add on to this point here?
Yeah, please, Vidya, please.
Yeah, because last batch we have seen quite a number of students who came with gaps, but there were proper documentary evidences, and placing them was not difficult. Like
Yes.
I'll give a beautiful example of Infosys, where Infosys has picked up students around 4 to 5 students who had gaps, and they had justified those gaps. There was a proper audit which happened. Infosys did a complete audit, and the documentary evidences that was provided by students were relevant, and then the students were hired with Infosys. So it completely, the kind of justification that you give in terms of your gap will make a lot of difference, whether it is getting admission at IMT Nagpur or getting placed to a decent organization. So please make sure that your documents are well documented.
Thank you, Vidya. I will need your help in one more question. Before that,
Yes.
I will take this question. Process for applying through CMAT. You can go to the website of IMT, and then there you can apply. If you have, since you have not, the CMAT has still not happened, so no score candidate, you can apply under that category. And then once you will be, of course, will be taken through the entire process. But of course, if in case you are offered admission, that will be completely provisional, subject to fulfillment of score submission and fulfillment of your score submission requirements. So you can apply through CMAT, but you need to go to IMT Nagpur or IMT Ghaziabad website. Shreya Sood is asking, how is placement different for freshers versus experienced candidates? Vidya, I need your help on this.
Okay, so I'll tell you, we keep our students who are with experience, we keep a lateral process separately. The companies are the same. We approach them together, and we then position our work ex students separately in case we can negotiate on the compensations. So basically, the company remains the same for both freshers as well as work experience. The only difference that happens is we position our work experience students separately in terms of negotiating with the companies for compensations. So that's the only difference. But the companies that come for both freshers and experience remain the same.
Thank you, Vidya. Priya is saying that REST queries are now more about profile-based selection only. So that's all from IMT Nagpur. Let me thank Professor Anil Kumar, Ms. Vidya, and my two lovely students, but now alumni of IMT Nagpur, Anand and Tanvi. Thank you very much for being here and talking to these participants.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So
Thank you,
let me
everyone.
now invite Professor Parnali, my colleague and admission chair from IMT Ghaziabad. She will now be talking to you about IMT Ghaziabad details. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Pavan Jain. And it was a very informative and insightful session. And so we'll take it forward now, and welcome to all the participants and the eminent panelists of today. So let me welcome my co-panelists and thank you for being here on a weekend. I would say it's a Sunday, it's a holiday, but still all of you could make it here. And I have with me Dr. Rakesh Gupta. So Dr. Rakesh Gupta is our program chair and he's a professor of strategy at IMT Ghaziabad. I have with me Dr. Sean Matthew. Dr. Sean Matthew is the program chair of dual country program and he is professor marketing. My another co-panelist is my colleague, Dr. Harsimran Sandhu. Dr. Sandhu is professor finance and he is chairing banking and financial services program. I have with me Dr. Renu Mishra. Dr. Renu Mishra is the head of placements. And my esteemed co-panelists are distinguished eminent alumni are Mr. Anurag Mathur and Ms. Pragyashri. Mr. Mathur is the head of institutional cross-selling at Aditya Birla Capital, and Ms. Pragyashri is the director of financial services, strategy and digital at PwC. So may I request all my co-panelists to kindly switch on the camera and just wave to all the participants and say a big hello to them. Mr. Mathur and Pragyashri. Pragya is already there. Okay. So I think Mr. Mathur will switch on his camera when this session will actually start and when he will have a chance of talking about himself, his journey, etc. Similarly, Pragyashri will also discuss about her journey. So let me just quickly share the slides, share my screen and the slides. Just give me a second. So the usual questions that we all ask when we are on a virtual platform, is my screen visible? Are the slides visible?
Yes, they are. Yes,
they
they
are.
are.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
they are.
great. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That motivates the speaker, you know. So, okay, so it's all about IMT Ghaziabad now. So very quickly, just to introduce IMT Ghaziabad, although our very eminent alumni are there, and it's their campus, so they will talk about their campus, their experience inside the campus and outside the campus. So I will not talk much about IMT Ghaziabad, but just to all of you know about it, there are lots of videos available on YouTube about IMT Ghaziabad. But still, I have to talk about our legacy. Like we were established in 1980. So we are pretty old now, right? Pretty old, but dynamic because we are evolving. We are changing every time, every year, and we are adapting ourselves to the changes that are happening in the external environment. So we are pretty smart that way, I would say. And, you know, because we are 1980 established when very few B schools were there in the country. So we have our own advantage. You know, the kind of alumni we have, the first batch was out in 1982. So therefore, you know, you can well imagine the kind of alumni we have. So they are all distinguished alumni, or we have lots of CXOs. So, you know, if you people join us and if you guys get connected to those alumni, so automatically you're connected to the entire world, you know, because they have their own connections who are also very high level people. So the networking opportunity is huge at IMT Ghaziabad. And apart from that, there are so many students inside the campus. So, you know, you are actually making a few friends, but you are having a huge network because, you know, your networking opportunity will be immense. There are so many 600 students inside the campus and it's a residential campus. So you can well imagine the kind of networking that you will have. So all these things, you know, help you in your career progression later on, because there's a lot of peer learning And after that, when you are out of the campus, you are all nostalgic about your batch. So you're getting connected. I would say that if you join a particular batch, you are actually getting connected to the senior batch as well as the next batch, which is coming in to the campus. So that is the kind of networking you develop. So in rankings, yes, we are ASSB. So what is this ASSB? ASSB talks about quality. So international, this is an international accreditation, and these people are very stringent about quality, about the process. So if our process is excellent, they will accredit it. So when we got our first ASSB accreditation, there were only 4 business schools in India that were ASSB accredited. So you can well imagine about our quality. And not only accreditation, last year we were even re-accredited. So we have to continuously, that's why I said, although we may be 40 years old, but that has our own advantage. But at the same time, we have to adhere to the best practices and processes, because we are not only accredited by international organization like ASSB, and SAQS, but we are also accredited by NBA, which is a national accreditation body. Now, Alumni Network, I have already talked to you, spoken about it. We have international partnerships, 50 partners are there, active partners, I would say. So students have got a lot of opportunity to visit them, and their students also come to our campus. You can just browse through our website and find out more about it. And if you say, for example, if you want to go to Rene Business School, so it all depends what kind of academic performance has been there in that particular year, and then the kind of seats, how many seats Rene has, whether the specialization that Rene offers, whether you want to do that. So there's a lot of mix and match that goes on. But yes, we have so many institutes who are partners, so you get an opportunity to go and do an exchange a term over there. And of course, your credits get transferred. We have a strong pedagogy. I will not talk about it much because my colleagues are all there. Our lovely alumni are there. We'll talk about their campus and their courses. So, but briefly, let me just orient you to the different courses we have. We have PGDM full-time, PGDM marketing, PGDM finance, PGDM dual country program, and PGDM banking and financial services program. So these are the 2-year full-time PGDM programs. May I request Dr. Rakesh Gupta, Chairperson PGDM program, to talk about PGDM program and explain in detail.
Yes.
Dr. Gupta? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Barnali, and a very warm welcome to all of you on this chilly morning in Delhi NCR region, which we are witnessing. Before I proceed, I hope I am clearly audible to all of you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So I will take off from where Professor Barnali left. We are an old institution. Old imparts us two huge advantages. We have a very rich alumni base, which you can see even today during the course of your 2 years at IMT Ghaziabad. And this alumni plays a very, very active and influential role in shaping your career, shaping your personality by their deep involvement during your stay in Ghaziabad. So that's the advantage of being old. The other advantage I can talk about is probably old, we have a strong identity about ourselves. Having said that, we are young in the sense our practices, our curriculum which I will focus about, is very contemporary. It's future looking and a very relevant one. From now onwards, I will restrict my talk to 3 programs: PGDM full-time, PGDM marketing, and PGDM finance. These are the flagship programs of IMT Ghaziabad. 2 years program divided into 6 trimesters with a 10 to 12 week of summer internship in between. So that's how the entire program is structured. We start with the foundation term. The idea behind the foundation is those students, because we get students from very diverse background, we can bring them to a certain level where they are ready to start at a common platform. So normally our program will start with the 4 to 6 weeks of foundation where students from diverse backgrounds can be put together. So that's the starting point. The highlights of our program, as you can look about, is we focus a lot on engagement, and that engagement come from 360-degree from all sides. Alumni engagement, that is part and parcel of our program. Corporate engagement, there is a deep corporate connect, as you will witness during the 2 years of your stint. Then we have a strong social engagement also. And the pillar of that social engagement is various societal projects, immersive courses like sustainability and social responsibility, as well as a lot of programs focused on sustainability related issues. And the fourth pillar of our engagement is the student engagement. So we lay a lot of emphasis on our engagement sides. So that's what, and that engagement happens at the course level also, and that engagement happens at the program level also. So this is our philosophy at IMT Ghaziabad. Then the other philosophy which we follow is, as I mentioned, we try to be contemporary, relevant, as well as forward-looking. So innovation has been an abiding theme of our course structure as well as the course delivery. So in the last few years, the emphasis has been to build courses as well as the program which is multidisciplinary in nature, which sensitize you to the realities of our society. The idea is to make a well-groomed personality who is fit and ready not only to join the corporate world, but very soon become a leader in the corporate. So in terms of innovation, there is a lot of innovation elements embedded at the program level. Let me just highlight a few of them and then move to even specific courses level innovation also. Within the program level, the courses are designed in terms of not only in terms of core courses and elective courses, which has been the case all across the business school curriculum. We have also introduced core electives. So the students, whichever stream they intend to specialize in, they can take core electives in that stream. The other aspect in the program is, along with your major and minor specialization, there are a lot of courses which we categorize as free electives. They are multidisciplinary in nature. Today, the focus is on creating well-rounded personalities. So that is where multidisciplinary courses come in. Another aspect of the program is there are a lot of immersive workshops which we offer. Workshops on design thinking, workshop on artificial intelligence, workshop on new venture creation. Then there are simulation-based courses. Then courses like sustainability and social responsibility. All of these are immersive field-based courses. So that is where a lot of experiential learning comes into being. And our elective spread is far higher, deeper also. So these are some of the program level innovations we have introduced over the year. Within the course level, we take emphasis that every course, there is an involvement of alumni and industry partners, and they come and take not only expert or guest sessions, they take sessions within each course also. That's our course level highlight, so that you get an exposure to the industry practices within the course also. So that's where the innovation has been. And lastly, I will briefly talk about the impact part of these courses. Professor Barnali, if we can just move to the next slide. Yeah. So the impact has been a very strong and a deeper alignment with our vision. And the vision is not only to create graduates for industry, but to inculcate in them an entrepreneurial mindset and also to develop in them a very, very sensitive aspect towards contributing to society also. So that's what the alignment is. Our programs over the year has got a huge buy-in from the student community. That is very indicative from the kind of applicant pools, both in terms of numbers, diversity, and quality of the applicant pool which get. And the lastly is the impact in terms of receptivity of our graduates in the industry. So it's receptivity, both in terms of placement and how they perform over the years. I will not dwell a lot in terms of the placement aspect because Professor Renu, our head of placement, is already there. Probably she will go deeper into the placement aspect of this. So I have just tried to explain broadly the philosophy around which our program is structured and how our courses and program is delivered. Rest of the issues, I'm there. Any queries around the curriculum design and delivery, I will be very happy to talk about. I will close with this. The three programs, PGDM full-time, marketing, and finance, the only difference between these programs is in marketing and finance, you get enrolled straight away into marketing and finance program. You will end up in specializing in these programs. Where in our PGDM full-time program, you will decide about your choice of specialization towards the end of the first. So that's all from my side, Professor Barnali, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Gupta. You have explained so well about the program, about the innovation aspect, which is very important in our program and courses, about the industry connections, everything. Thank you very much. And I'm sure that the participants have now understood more about our PGDM marketing, finance, and full-time programs of IMT Ghaziabad. And in case there are more queries, we will take them the end of the session. So may I now request another co-panelist, our chairperson of DCP program, Dr. Sean Matthew. Dr. Matthew, kindly explain about the dual country program.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and a warm welcome to everyone. I hope this would be a session useful for all of you. I'm now based in Dubai, and thankfully it's a very pleasant weather. This is the best time in Dubai, actually, November to March. I hope some of you get to see the campus and Dubai at some point. Getting on straight to explaining about the dual country program. This is a very niche program which has been offered by IMT group of institutions, jointly offered by IMT Ghaziabad and IMT Dubai. And it's one of the few multi-country programs in the country at the moment. It has been in existence for over a decade. And in this last 1 decade, it has sort of emerged as a front runner among similar programs which are offered in the country. And the core idea behind the program is to address some of the limitations of the conventional programs. While there are international components in some of the programs, it's limited to a shorter time frame where you go on an exchange program, or there are international faculty who come and teach. DCP program by design is intended to address these limitations by infusing international elements into the core aspect of the program. So as part of this program, the students get to spend a year each in 2 countries, both in India and UAE, with 3 terms spent at each of the campuses. For the 2020-22 batch, the program structure would be students would start off with the first term in IMT Ghaziabad, then move on to Dubai for terms 2 and 3. Then you will undertake summer internships, primarily focused in the Gulf region, and then continue with term 4 in Dubai, and then move on to Ghaziabad to term 5 and 6. So the whole focus of the program is to mold students for international careers, and this is done through a steady mix of customized course content, differences in course delivery. We primarily rely on a mix of internal and external faculty, and by external faculty I mean top professors from the top universities in the world who would actually offer some of these core courses. In addition to this, there is a very deep and sustained exposure to a multicultural experience in Dubai specifically. This is done through short-term and long-term projects. There is an ample opportunity to interact with people from multiple countries. And Dubai, as some of you might already know, is probably one of the most diverse regions in the world, where more than 80% of the population actually consists of expatriates. And you have people from any you name any country in the world, you would find people from those countries working in Dubai. So that is one of the advantages of the program as such. And it's completely designed to actually give that holistic international perspective, and also inbuild in the students those necessary skill sets which are needed to actually excel in a global career. So that's largely the design of the program. And as Dr. Banali and Dr. Rakesh was saying, innovation is core to the DNA of IMT altogether. And this is very much evident in the DCP program also. Starting for the 2021-23 batch, we have introduced 3 super specialization tracks as part of the course structure. This consists of advanced quantitative finance, international trade and logistics, and international business and marketing. And these, change in the program architecture was actually introduced in consultation with our multiple stakeholders, including our alumni, industry partners, faculty from both the institutions, and also our academic advisory board. So this was introduced to meet this need that, especially in a post-COVID world, there was this move towards very niche skill sets which are required from the multiple domains which are there. And our super specialization tracks actually try to help students build those skill sets which would help them succeed in this niche professions. Just to give a brief overview of the program structure and the courses, like I explained, there are 3 specialization tracks. Advanced quantitative finance, which is aligned towards the finance track. So if you look at this particular track, the curriculum is focused on 2 major areas. One is financial markets, and the other one is financial intermediation. And the financial markets track, the focus would be on study of investor rationality, risk aversion, some of the cornerstones of modern finance. And this will actually lay the foundation for learning techniques like portfolio optimization, learning about multiple models like the capital asset pricing model, arbitrage model, Black-Scholes model. So it's a mix of both theory and practice which would be involved. And the whole journey takes students through the theoretical aspects, which then gets intermingled with econometric techniques, a lot of analysis of real data. So that's mostly what the financial markets part is. The financial intermediation part focuses on banking. This includes shadow banking issues pertaining to risk management by institutions, asset liability management. And it will also introduce students to aspects like adverse selection, moral hazard in banking, and the entire financial services and the insurance sector. And in addition to this, we also have courses in Islamic banking, which would help them better understand the nuances of the financial sector, specifically in the Middle East. So this is a area which has been very specifically designed for students to get exposed to the quantitative finance part. The second track, which is aligned to the operations management area, is again to meet this increasing need for supply chain professionals who have the who have both the domain knowledge with the theoretical understanding of stuff and also are able to apply it in practice. So this is one of the very few programs worldwide, if you look at it, which specifically looks at international trade and logistics from a very holistic perspective. And it has a range of subjects. You will be learning subjects from strategic sourcing, economics, analytics, operations, contract management, and some commercial aspects of business, commercial and legal aspects of business. So this will again be taught by a combination of academicians and industry practitioners, so that there is a connect with the real connect with the real world as such. And one of the advantages for this particular track is that while in Dubai, this is actually a hub of operations with significant impact, well connected to Africa, Asia, and Europe. So being in Dubai actually helps students of this track immensely. The third track is called International Business and Marketing. So it's an amalgamation of areas of marketing and strategy, and it provides a very deep insight into some of the areas which are required to succeed in international business, like consumer insights. There are a few courses from the marketing area, like product and brand management, social and digital media marketing, analytics courses, services courses, and then the typical integrated marketing communication. So it goes beyond the typical courses offered in marketing and strategy to provide a much more holistic view of how the business landscape is changing. And we have introduced some cutting edge courses like technology enabled marketing, courses in international business and public policy, looking at hybrid organizations, looking at strategic alliances, and managing businesses in a global context. So this track will give you a very deep exposure to real world issues, and we have some soft courses also which will get some understanding of the global culture. And again, like I said, Dubai, because of the access to Europe, Africa, and Asia being at the center part of this part of the world, this would actually help the students apply some of these things which they are learning in classroom, in the real world when they are doing the summer internship, short-term projects, long-term projects. Ma'am, if you could. And just to highlight this thing, we have so if you can see the screen behind me, that's actually the IMT Dubai campus. That's one of the first campuses in the academic city here, and it's a very popular campus out here. We have multiple programs which are there, and the students would actually get to interact with people from different nationalities, even on campus. Just to highlight some of the aspects which probably I would have already discussed, from a program perspective, we will look at it from the differentiation which we are hoping to bring with the dual country program is looked at from two perspectives. One is from the program perspective, the other is from the course perspective. From a program perspective, we are looking at a global orientation. We are hoping that we will get some exposure to the multicultural part, and we infuse some local elements into the program through regional practices. And there's a very application side. This is through multiple projects, both as formal part of the program where there are 2 industry related projects, and then you will get to work on several short-term and long-term projects. The focus here would be on leadership, ethical aspects of business, and to instill an entrepreneurial mindset for the students. In terms of the course differentiation factors, the 3 super specialization tracks which I already talked about, and this is actually customized both to include a global perspective as well as bring in some of the local practices through case studies, through industrial visits and all into the course part. Ma'am, can we move on to the next slide? Yeah. Just before I wrap up, 2 things which I would like to highlight as part of the program is, one, there is a significant component related to immersion here. This is through industry visits. We will visit both multinational organizations which are based in UAE and around. There are some visits to the local organization, including visits to port, warehouses, distribution centers. We'll be doing a lot of industry connect activities through industry conclaves, panel discussions, and guest lectures. And again, one of the highlights of this program would be the international internships which are there. So students from the 2022-24 batch would be undertaking their internships in Dubai, which probably would be one of the biggest highlights of this program. Other than that, please, we can check out the program details on the website. And if there are any questions, I would be glad to answer those. Thank you, Bernali. I hope I didn't go much beyond the allotted time. And
No, fine, Sean. It was excellent. And now, all the participants have got a good idea about the importance of this program, which will give global exposure, as well as the students will have, opportunity of learning in IMT Ghaziabad, and they will get the advantage of studying in UAE and getting an option to do summer placements in GCC region, as well as get global placements. That was wonderful. That was really wonderful, Dr. Sean. So now I invite my co-panelist and my colleague, Dr. Harsimran Sandhu. So Professor Sandhu is the chairperson of PGDM Banking and Financial Services Program. Professor Sandhu, could you please take it forward?
Yes, I'm audible, Professor Bernali?
Yeah, if you could increase the volume a little bit, it will be good.
I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let me first welcome you to this webinar. An obvious question that may come to your mind, that why we need a special course on banking and financial services at IMT Ghaziabad. That's the first obvious question. I think I have two pillars to this need. One, the first pillar being that the banking and financial services hold the largest weightage on the Nifty index, which is 38%. It is one of the fastest growing sectors in the Indian economy, and it requires a very specialized level of manpower requirement. So these are the three basic nuances why we thought to float a separate this thing. If you look at, I just want to compare it with PGDM Finance. A lot of students would like to compare with PGDM Finance. PGDM Finance includes all the areas of larger areas of corporate finance, but doesn't leave out very essential banking and financial services. If you look at it from all the placement reports of all the premier institutes in the country, banking and financial services has the largest chunk of the companies coming to the campuses. And that's why the genesis of this course, we thought that would help the industry as well as the students to give a very specific nuance to the sector. So I just want to talk about the course objective. The course objective is very singular in this case, industry ready day one. So I just want to be very specific on this. When I'm saying this industry ready day one, that means that the candidate would not require any further training required, and he will be able to perform in the industry on day one basis. That's something which I want to be really driving this fact for the program. And second, I think global experience is very, very important in this program. To partner to give this, IMT Ghaziabad has partnered with Weldrick Business School, which is an FT ranked business school. It's triple accredited by ASSP, AMBA, and EQUIS, which have campuses in Brussels, Grunt, and Lebanon. So I think this really wraps up the entire program. You have the Indian flavor to the program. You have the global, and the top faculty from Weldrick kind of delivers the program. In terms of course delivery, 40% of the course is delivered by a Weldrick faculty, which is Weldrick Business School. These are world-class faculty across the world, which come down to Ghaziabad to deliver the courses at IMT Ghaziabad. This thing. Second, I think second aspect to the course is the fact that we have a boot camp that is scheduled in Brussels and London for 2 weeks, where students are encouraged to take 2 electives, and they're also exposed to some of the best run European banks and financial institutions. So that's something which gives a very practical exposure, global exposure to the students, which I think is extremely important in the banking and financial services world. So that's the whole idea. And second, I think the course also leverage on the 12,000 alumni of IMT Ghaziabad, and 3 out of 3 who are CXO, holding CXO level positions in different companies located in India and abroad. So I think we kind of create an overall ecosystem that really helps us to place the students in the right companies, providing the right inputs that are provided via this course. The next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me come to the course design. So course design is very thoughtfully looked at. It's a very judicial blend of core banking, financial services, and fintech courses. You do understand that at this point of time, all the aspects of the business are disrupted by technology, and I think financial technology is being disrupted in all the areas, I would say. So I think what we have done is the student starts with the core management subjects, moving on to specialized subjects in banking and financial services, which includes risk management, business valuation, corporate finance, specific banking courses, risk in banks. All are explained in detail, along with the guest lectures from the industry, so that students overall gets a full flavor of the full banking and financial services. And the last section remains to be the impact of the fintech on all the sectors of the bank. So each banking problem is looked at how fintech is changing that aspect of a bank. So in terms of payments, in terms of wealth management, in terms of any other thing which a bank provides, we look at from a lens that how technology is disrupting that particular sector in banking. So it really tells you that, and we also explain the students that how the cycles are getting shortened for disruption. So, the earlier cycles were a little longer in disruption. Then the disruption cycles for a bank, for a payment, it looks like less than 5 years to disrupt to that cycle. And for wealth management also, the disruption is less than 3 years, I would say. If you look at robo-advisory and all this stuff, I think it's very interesting to kind of understand where we stand. So I think students are exposed to all these aspects from that aspect. Third, I just want to talk about the class diversity. I think we have a very good mix of gender, 86 male and 14% female. We try to increase the female ratio, so it becomes a very good mix of the mix. Second is the work experience. 34% of the class comes with prior experience to 1 to 3 years, and 64 and 33 respectively comes with engineering commerce background. So I think a lot of peer-to-peer learning happens within the class. So you have certain learnings from the faculty, which is very important. But I think peer-to-peer learning is very important, and the enhancement of peer-to-peer learning really happens when you have a very healthy mix of both the experience and the non-experience, I would say. And the last point, I just want to make it very specific, that what kind of candidates we're looking. We're looking for candidates who want to look at, we want to build up long-term careers in banking and financial services, who want to take on leadership positions in banking and financial services. I think the course has been well taken by the companies who come to the campus. They want to hire specifically for this sector. This sector commands a premium in the market above all the other sectors, I would say. You can go through all the reports that are available. So more and more, as the chairperson for PGDM BFS, I would like to welcome you to join the program, and would like to answer any specific questions you have about the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sandhu. I'm sure that participants will have a couple of questions. We'll address them all at the end of the session. And so now you are more or less acquainted with all our programs, our PGDM 2-year full-time program, marketing finance program, PGDM dual country program, and PGDM PFS program. So now you have, you have been introduced to the chairpersons of the program. So let us talk of the faculty of Imt Ghaziabad. The programs are successful. Our students are placed well in the industry because of a lot of handholding that is being done by our Imt Ghaziabad faculty. What do I talk about my own colleagues? You can browse through the website and find out. But our faculty are extremely learned. They are about, 80% of them have PhDs. They have a perfect blend of industry and academic experience. They are PhDs from, say, IIMs, IITs, and in India, and from universities in India, abroad, prominent in universities. For example, Professor Rakesh Gupta, he's a PhD from FMS New FMS Delhi University. Dr. Shahan is an FPM, is a PhD from IIM Ahmedabad. Dr. Sandhu is a PhD from IIM. Again, Dr. Sandhu, Dr. Harsimran Sandhu, the chairperson of Banking and Financial Services Program, has spent 18 years in the banking and financial services industry, and he was in the leadership team of Standard Chartered Bank before he's joined us. Our institute is led by Dr. Vishal Talwar. Dr. Vishal Talwar himself is a PhD from UK, has immense experience of handling very prominent, heading very prominent B schools. Our Dean, Dr. Amit Sarin, again, is an alumnus of FMS Delhi University. So, and apart from that, I've got colleagues who publish in the best of journals with high impact factors, A star, A category journals. They do a lot of consultancy projects. Our faculty also do a lot of training programs, and we have the best of clients. And, all these actually make the programs better because they come back and they deliver the same in the classroom. So they share their industry experience, their immense experience inside the classroom. We have a perfect blend of young faculty as well as faculty who are senior in age. So that is the but you can have more knowledge because the session has very limited time. So you can have more knowledge once you browse to our website. Thank you, Professor Harsimran Sandhu. Professor Sandhu, are you there?
Yes, Professor Bali, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, just a question that is coming to my mind because a lot of participants ask these questions. Suppose a student wants to pursue in a career in banking and financial services. Should the student opt for finance or should the student opt for BFS? And when should the student opt for finance? In fact, I would request Professor Rakesh Gupta also to throw some light on this.
So, Professor Banali, I think it's a very relevant question. I want to be very specific on this. If the student is looking to start his career specifically in banking and financial services, definitely he should opt for BFS program. In case of, and Professor Rakesh Gupta can broaden on that, if he is looking to specific careers in corporate finance, in CFOs of companies, he's looking to reach those positions, then he can look at PGDM finance as this thing. So very, very specific where he wants to build his career, and finally he can take that direction to build on.
Okay, thank you very much. Professor Rakesh Gupta, would you like to add on to something in this?
Yeah, I think
PGDM finance.
Yeah, Professor Harsimran has already explained it well.
Yeah.
BFS is a very, very sectoral specific. So if the focus is to join a few sectors of our industry, banking and financial services, that is where this program was carved out because the need was felt in that direction. Whereas PGDM finance is broad in scope. If you are looking at careers in finance across spectrum of industries, that's where this program, PGDM finance, is aimed at. So I think that's a distinction between these two programs. So there is hardly any overlap in this. I think keeping the requirements of the industry over a period of time, that's how these programs work out.
Absolutely. And as a professor of finance, I would like to add that in PGDM finance, we have got different kinds of electives that the students can opt in the second year. And in fact, in banking, some of the electives are taught as core subjects in the first year itself. But yes, we have common subjects like fintech. Fintech is there in both BFS as well as finance. And apart from that, analytics is everywhere. Analytics is in all programs, in all courses. It is in the blood of Imt Ghaziabad. So finance subjects, yes, some of these subjects like accounting, accounting, and then corporate finance, etc., will be taught in both banking as well as our PGDM finance courses. But yes, if you want to know more about banking and financial services, you want to have a career in that, like Professor Sandhu has mentioned, then in that case, I think it's PGDM BFS will be a very good choice. So I think we'll interact more when we have our head of placements, Dr. Renu Mishra. I think she can also throw some light from a career progression point of view and placements point of view when it comes to PGDM finance vis-a-vis PGDM banking and financial services program. So Dr. Renu, now I invite you to explain and talk about the placements at Imt Ghaziabad.
Thank you, Dr. Barnali. Good afternoon to all of you. I know that my colleagues have told you a lot about what programs are offered and how they are delivered and what you will gain out of it. You would also be wanting to know that what would be the output. However, I would rather make a caveat over here that your 2-year journey, what you do in between, how you take forward the learning which is being imparted, will influence the kind and quality of the opportunity and the placement you get. So the 2 years which you are spending, that's very, very important. Whatever is being taught, the way it is being taught and the way it is being imparted, that's very, very important for you to take it seriously. That will influence the output part of it. Now, the current slide would show a lot of positive figures, etc., CTC, highest CTC, which all of you would want to know, and what it has been. However, the output which you are seeing on the screen has a lot of effort which goes on at the background. Now, as far as the placement support or the placement office is concerned, it comprises of staff members and a very strong student body, which is a placement committee, which is a 40-member committee comprising of seniors and juniors. And again, a lot of students who join the B school for being part of the committee. So that placement is partly driven by students. And there is a very strong staff member who supports or rather leads that part of it. Now, if I talk about what do we do throughout the year, we have, I can cluster it into 3 buckets. One is the training part of it, one is the engagement part of it, and the third one is the placement part of it. Now, first I'll talk about the engagement part of it. All the program chairs have talked about that there is a very regular engagement with the industry and the corporate during the curriculum delivery. And as part of the placements also, there is a very conscious effort in engaging with the industry so that you are better equipped when you are going out of complete the program and going out in the industry. Now, engagements, the companies or the organizations, we engage with them at various levels. Now, when we say various levels, there can be senior corporates and alumni who might come down and interact with you. In the last 2 years, physical interaction has been in the form of virtual, which has also given an opportunity to reach out to our corporate partners who are not just based in and around NCR. So across the globe, we have engaged with people across. So that also has been a positive outcome of the virtual world which we have. So the senior leaders might talk about their journey, and they might give you insight what you should do and how to reach that goal. Then we might have people at the middle level and as well as the junior level people from the industry who might come and talk to you about what exactly how do you utilize the 2 years for you to achieve that short-term goal, maybe get a job in a particular sector, get a job in a particular specialization, etc. So they might talk to you and give you inputs in that area. Then the other part of engagement is we give you exposure to do a lot of things with the industry. Now, they can be in the form of short-term projects. So these projects can vary from 15 days to a month or so, where you, along with your academics, are doing those live projects and delivering that so that you are getting exposure at that point in time itself. other part is a lot of companies have these school competitions and competitions which they throw, case study competition which they throw to the students, and the students participate in that. And the outcome may be in the form of a pre-placement offer or a pre-placement interview. So that also is an exposure which the students get when, as far as engagement is concerned. Now, the other part, the other outcome is the summer internship and the final placement. The summer internship is part of the curriculum for all the 2-year programs, and you generally do it in the month of April, May, June. And we reach out to organizations and get projects which are relevant and aligned to the curriculum. And you get an opportunity to work in those organizations for a period of 2 months with definite deliverables which are there and you are evaluated on that. There can be a positive outcome if you perform well during the summer internship. You might get a offer in the form job offer in the form of a pre-placement offer. So that is also there as far as. And then, of course, the final placement is there, that we reach out to organizations for hiring for our students. So organization participate, offer different varied kind of profiles, you sign up, and then the process happens. So this is as far as this is concerned. Then the other part is for you to give your best in these opportunities which come by. We also have a very structured training or the pre-placement preparation part of it. So we do hire an external agency which helps you in preparing your resume, which helps you in how to handle a group discussion, how to handle a case interview, how to handle mock interview. So those are also a very structured, time-bound program which is delivered just before, culminates just before you go in for your final placement. So that also is offering or support which the institute has. Apart from all this, since we have a very huge alumni base, we have regular interactions with the alumni through the alumni committee, where they come and talk to you about how did they do when they were on campus, or how did they crack the interview, how do you utilize your 2 years so that you are able to achieve your career goal and whatever goals you have post that. So that is something which is the offering or the support the institute gives you for you to achieve your career goal post the program is complete. And as far as, again, last year was a difficult year. However, we were able to place the whole batch. This year has been phenomenal. We were able to place the whole batch within a span of 17 days with varied sectors participating. Dr. Banali, can we have the next slide so that they have a look at, again.
Dr. Renu, I have a question. It says,
yes, please.
Average, 23% hike in average salary.
So yes.
It means something like almost 3 lakh rupees. A jump
Yes. So if I look at 2021, it was a difficult year because it was a COVID year. So the last 2021 average salary was somewhere around 12.42, and this year we were able to get 15.28. So we had a lot of participation from organization, and again the organizations also which participated picked up in large number of students, performed well, they were better prepared, and again the numbers, because the market was a little better than the COVID year. So I think we were able to achieve that, and maybe the kind of relationship which we have, because we built a relationship over the years, I think we will be able to do it next year as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So again, if you look at again the kind of sectors, BFSI and technology, IT, ITS is the highest recruiter which has been there. Apart from that, FMCG, etc. So there were a lot of new companies which participated this year, which were like a Morgan Stanley or a BCG or RCGM, etc. They participated for the first time this year because again, the students have been performing really well in international and national competitions, and their visibility is there. So again, that talks about how much effort you put in and the quality of students here, which are there at IMT Ghaziabad, and the learning which you have during the years. Again, the organizations also want to look at you and hire you. So definitely your what you do during those 2 years and how you do and how you utilize definitely bears fruit as far as your career also is concerned. So that is from my side. Any question, any specific questions, I would be more than happy to take it. Thank you, Dr. Barnani, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Renu. Very well explained. And I'm sure there will be a lot of questions on placements, and we'll handle them towards the end of the session.
Sure, sure.
Now may I request our alumni, both the alumni of today's session, Mr. Anurag Mathur and Ms. Pragyashri. So, Mr. Mathur, I hope you are there.
Yes, very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Very, very lively voice. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. And so Mr. Mathur is the head of institutional cross-sell at Aditya Birla Capital. And he has spent good amount of years in a merchant banking company. And he has been in Birla Group since 2001. I've just jotted down 3 points because I know he'll talk about his experience inside the campus and outside the campus. And Mr. Anurag, I also want you to talk about how your nightlife was inside the campus. I mean to say, hanging around in the campus and in cafe, and then that Nestle coffee shop, and also for how many hours did you sleep? That also I wanted to inform to the aspirants who want to join IMT Ghaziabad.
All
Over
right.
to you, Mr. Mathur.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And basically, I will draw from a lot of things. But what was the most inspiring part for me in today's session? What I was thinking is, I wish I was on the other side, which is sitting with these students, then listening to the professors speak. Because the IMT that I'm seeing today is so exciting. It's so exciting, I can't tell you, especially when I'm listening to Professor Rakesh and Professor Sandhu. And Professor Sandhu, obviously, it comes from my space, which is the BFSI space where I've been. And I'm like, boy, why didn't we have something like this back in our day, So that's the kind of excitement with which I was following all these slides and the program and everything. So let me just start very quickly with my journey. And it's been quite a little, it's actually a very simple journey. So I started at CIFCO was the place where we got placed, from IMT 94. And that was a batch again where we had 100% placement. And for a back class of 94, it was the first class ever to get full 100, in fact, over 100% placement. So that's the kind of strength of the batch that we were talking about. We had a pretty good mix of people who had work experience even back then and people who had who were freshers. So CIFCO comes to campus in January 2003. January 1993. We have these interview sessions, and they asked me all sorts of questions about merchant banking, and it was my area of interest and equity research and blah blah blah. But when I joined them in May, the first thing they do is to give me something to proofread, and that was a prospectus, the prospectus that you file for IPOs. And I looked at my seniors. The interesting part was the CIFCO used to also had a history of hiring from IMT. Okay. So I looked at two of my seniors, my immediate senior and my super senior, both were from IMT and both were my bosses here at CIFCO. And that's a very interesting part of this whole thing. And they both looked, and I looked at them and I said, I mean, why me? They said, oh, you'll understand. And of course I did. So the idea is basically that, when you finish your MBA and you are all dreamy-eyed and, bushy-tailed and you want to make an impact on the world and you want to do everything, the corporate world says, hold on, we first need to see how smart you really are. So they'll start giving you really basic things to do. And that's what happened to me as well. Anyway, that career, we did a lot of good work there. So we used to do basically IPO placements. We used to do debt structuring for our clients, and we also used to sell fixed deposits and mutual funds, which then moved into my next career transition, which was basically being the center head for the Birla Mutual Fund at Bangalore. Post which I took over the responsibility of heading the state for them at Tamil Nadu. And then I moved into a completely different industry, which is insurance. And I headed the institutional business there for the East at Birla Sun Life Insurance. Moving then on 2008, which is about 14 years from the time of my graduation, to doing a national level role at Birla Sun Life Insurance, looking at a completely different term business called the group term business. And from then on, business development, and then from 2013 onwards into my current role at Birla Capital, which is the holding company across all the financial services companies that we have here, which is insurance, banking, lending, in health and insurance broking. So pretty much simple, pretty much straightforward as far as our journey is concerned. But I mean, these things you can find on my LinkedIn profile. But the point is not about my LinkedIn profile. The point is about what is my insight. You know, when I look at these things and I realize, you see, the whole BFSI world has been a very, very VUCA world even for our generation. You know, so when I joined CIFCO in 1994, just to put things in perspective, Birla Mutual Fund was just about starting. And had you asked me this very simple question, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? There was no way I would have told you Birla Mutual Fund. But yet there is where I was, you know, 5 years later, or 6 years later, actually. In 2001, similarly, when I joined Birla Mutual Fund, the life insurance space was just about starting in India. And 5 years later, and had you asked me then, again, the same answers, no way. But 5 years later, there I was leading and heading an enterprise. So in all my roles, especially in the last 4 roles, the work that I've been doing has been, I've been either the first holder or the second holder of that role, you know, the one who came to build it and expand it. And where did I learn all these things from? How did I manage to be successful at whatever I was able to do? I think a lot of that goes to the grounding that we got at IMT. Okay. So one of the things that we were taught very clearly is that we try harder. You know, and that's something which is as a spirit has come down and has stayed with me for a very long time, since 1994. I mean, right from the faculty side or to our side, we do not rest on our laurels. We always try harder. So while it's great to see IMT where it is today, I mean, I can also sense in the talks that the professors made about their need and their desire to make it even better than what it is today. And that is the spirit of IMT, which I would like you to sort of note and absorb. The second thing it taught me was competition. Okay. Because you have a large set of people who have come from diverse backgrounds, who are your friends, but yet they are your competitors when it comes to the placement space. So how is it that you can hone and develop your own skills to become the best at the interview table? And this is a thought which I'd like to park with you, because I'll come back to this towards the end of my talk. Now, coming to the specific questions which ma'am asked me about my nightlife and about the parties. So, well, I think she has got a little bit insider information. Somebody has been leaking that out on me. So we used to have these parties at the Amphi, and yours truly happened to be the DJ there. And those parties were all-night parties. So, yes, ma'am, you are bang on, spot on in terms of the nightlife. And it's very important to see. And you slept, you couldn't sleep. I mean, there was so much of what today is called a FOMO, fear of missing out, happening at IMT. Even back then, there was no chance that you were sleeping for more than 5 hours or 6 hours in a day. And even today, a lot of my sessions that I carry out with the alumni committee as a part of the mentorship program, which I will speak about in a while, happen only between 12 and 1 at night. So that is still there. I mean, my doctors are now trying to tell me that, oh, at your age, you should not. And I'm like, you have no idea. When you get to IMT, you sort of become forever young. You know, you don't age like the people, the other places age. You don't. You just don't. So how does it happen? It happens because when you are thrown into IMT, the first thing that you're thrown into is your classroom groups. And there you learn that you have 5 different people who you have no idea of, and you're supposed to work with them and make your academics successful. The second thing that you get thrown into are the various committees, which Professor Indra Mishra spoke about, the placement committee, and then there are the academics committees, and there are several other work committees that work for the benefit of students and the institute. And you could be a part of any one of those committees. And it's always beneficial to be a part of any of those committees because you get a very good insight and perspective of what's going on. Now, these two things basically help you to create automatically a very large set of friends, and these friends, these are what I call in these today's times IRL, in real life friends, are the ones who are going to stand by you. 27 years ago, 28 years ago, had you asked me at that age, you're beyond college and you've done a couple of years of work X, and then somebody comes and says, can you and at this point in time, you don't really think you can really make friends with anybody for the rest of your life, but that is how it happens at IMT. I actually am most connected to those people even almost 30 years later. So that is what IMT does to you. It builds you the resilience, it builds you the competitiveness, it builds you a whole lot of interacting the people spirit. It gets you down to the basics. And people are very, very critical. People are very, very important because the one critical insight I want to also share with you is when you go to the corporates, how are you going to be measured? You're going to be measured on numbers, okay? But remember this, all your decisions are always going to be about people. So that grounding, that interaction that IMT can give you in terms of the 2 years that you spend there, in terms of dealing with different people is also is a very critical facility that you should be focusing on in addition to whatever you are doing in terms of your academics. And then last but not the least is the mentorship program that we run at IMT Ghaziabad, which we are planning to also incorporate across all the other institutions in the current year. So this is divided into two parts. One part, of course, which we have activated last year is for the students, where you have a set of students and you have a set of mentors, and these mentors are from the huge IMT Alumni Network, which the professor spoke about. So the Alumni Network works very closely with the institute in terms of finding those mentors and then putting this program into action. What is this program supposed to do? In short, this program is essentially supposed to make you a better version of yourself. So when you land up at the interview table, which is 2 years from now, that is the point in time when you have identified what have been your SWOTs and what have been your strengths, and how do you play to your strengths? How do you sort of mitigate your weaknesses, if any? How do you develop yourself to be a better person? How do you manage to leverage the skills that you have along with the academics that you have imbibed at IMT to be able to get that placement done? So that's from me, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mathur. And so we can say that there is a lot of change, positive changes when a student enters the campus and when the student goes out of the campus after graduating from IMT.
Yes.
Right? There is an immense change, and you think the person is now much more capable to become a better manager and a better leader, right? And
right, absolutely.
Yeah, there are examples and many other examples like you. And when you all are there to mentor the students, handhold the student, I think it's an immense, great opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. So now I move on to Pragya Shri. Ms. Pragya Shri is from the batch of 2008 and 10. She is right now the Director of Financial Services Strategy and Digital at PwC. She spent her stint at Religare, Max Life Insurance, and where she was the Vice President and Head of Business Excellence. Over to you, Pragya Shri. You can talk more about your experience in the campus, your academic experience, and your journey from there.
Thank you so much, Barnali ma'am. It's always a pleasure to come back to the IMT fraternity because, the formula I have in my head, and, like Anurag sir, I'm an FS person. The formula is IMT Ghaziabad is a multiplicative factor. So whatever you've done, all the aspirants, whatever you've done till date, when you come into IMT Ghaziabad, either you take your X to 2X or 4X. And if you don't come, believe you me, it's either multiplied by 0 or 1. That's the degree of confidence I have in the institute, having spent 2 years myself, getting mentored by our alum, getting the right kind of exposure from the institute, the faculty. In fact, Barnali ma'am, I can't say this enough. You taught me accounting. So
Yeah,
thank you so much.
and you were a very good academically sound student. I remember, Pragya. You were one
Thank
of
you
the
so much.
serious lots, right? Or
I
inside the
am glad
class.
you remember that, because like Anurag sir, I was also
So I
partying through the
remember
nights.
your batch was very good, terrific batch. Yeah.
So, ma'am, this platform of IMT Ghaziabad, and which has now expanded through multiple campuses, what it gives all of us, all folks who've been to the campus, whichever course you take, the full-time course, the finance course, or even, I know a lot of people who've done executive learning from this institute. The kind of, education that is imparted, I think it's very aligned to industry. There are many good institutes in the country who today give the right foundation, but how many really prepare you for the corporate? Because once you enter the organization is expecting you to know how to operate as a professional, not as a person who knows fundamentals only. I think that is very, very strongly imparted at IMT Ghaziabad. I did my summer internship from IMT with GE. And I still remember at the end of the internship program, one of the faculty members who was mentoring me, despite me being part of the corporate at GE, visited my supervisor at GE for feedback. And my supervisor, who was not an IMT, he ended up remarking, what an institute. Not only have they sent such a wonderful candidate and student, the faculty takes such keen interest in the student getting aligned to the corporate. So these are memories I hold very dearly, and those are small indents that one has as far as the corporate memory and smooth transition from education to corporate is concerned. Now, one of the key things that IMT gave me in the 2 years I was there was one family. As Anurag sir said, this is going to be lifelong. People you meet here, people you grow up with. We started by getting placed together. We waited till the last friend was placed. The camaraderie, the bonhomie, the kind of help that we reached out to our alums for, because I was one of those who got placed with Lehman Brothers back in 2007-8. 7 days down the line, got a letter that the company's gone bankrupt, and the world came crashing down. And the resilience that IMT has, the placement committee, the faculty members, the alum, they all came together, and they said, we're not going to let our students be in want of an internship. Sure, Lehman is no longer on the radar, but we'll get another company which is equally good. And we got GE, and I got placed with GE. So, that's what IMT is about. Come what may, last year we were talking about COVID-led recession. 10 years back, we were talking about real estate bubble burst. But did IMTians get placed? 100%. And we did not party till 420 of our batchmates were all placed. So, that's what IMT is about. The second thing that IMT gives us is the right courses, and I can't say I was in the BFS course, because back then in my times, we just had PGDM and finance. But it is so pleasant to hear about things that we talk about as consultants, me being a PwC consultant, the fintech disruption, the fact that there are neobanks, the fact that RBI is looking at, changing course, as things change. There are so many fintechs that mushroomed, and initially everyone was saying, oh, they won't survive because banking giants will gobble them up. But what's happened? It's been a beautiful orchestration of fintechs coming close to NBFCs getting closer to banks, and an ecosystem coming in play. Now, all of that becoming part of course curriculum, I think it's fabulous. Anyone who wants to be part of the financial services industry, IMT BFS is where you have to be. If we talk about, what does IMT further give you apart from family and a placement? It gives you the right, connect to come back to. Anurag sir is part of Aditya Birla, and while he talked about building the organization, he's been there for so long. The only thing I was thinking about is I am delivering a project for Aditya Birla Health Insurance Company, working with Mayank Bathwal, and I know who to reach out to if I want some guidance. That's the alum connect IMT Ghaziabad has. So I think all in all, if a package for industry readiness was to be picked up, I myself prefer going to IMT Ghaziabad to pick up that package or candidate. Recently went to multiple campuses, and every campus has its strength. Went to IIMs and the other top B schools. The favorite continues to be IMT Ghaziabad, and that's the feeling all the Alumni Network carries. And go anywhere, you will find an IMT at the top position who's ready to mentor you. I worked with Max Life, as Bernali ma'am said, had the COO who was an IMTian, mentored me, helped me see what path I could traverse, got awarded as CEO Woman of Substance in the year, and moved to Religare. Again, a lot of IMTians there. The strategy head was an IMTian. Moved to PwC, many partners who were IMTians. And I don't think I could have gotten this kind of exposure anywhere else. And I still continue looking up to my alums, having been in the industry for more than 11 years. Look at the quantum and wealth of mentorship this batch will get. So, Bernali ma'am, thank you for this opportunity. But I am glad I could come back today. And I'll close with this. When I joined IMT, the induction, we had people on the panel who were CEO of Radico, Naukri.com CEO, all with IMT pedigree. And the stories they told us were, there was no placement committee, we made one. There was no Naukri.com, we made a platform. And nobody was willing to buy anything from us, so we started exporting Mehendi. That's the Radico story. Entrepreneurship is at the heart and core of every IMTian. So this resilience not only is for corporate, but if you want to do something of your own, this is the place to be. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pragya and Anurag. I mean, I cannot thank you enough on behalf of IMT Ghaziabad and my colleagues, because you have taken, I had only requested you to be there for half an hour, but you are here throughout the session and have been waiting for so long. So I don't know how to thank you, that. I mean,
If I may say so, if I may say so, ma'am, this is our home. You don't have to thank us. We just home.
I understand.
And when you're home, you spend as much time as you can. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
It.
Thank you very much, because I still, as a faculty, because now I'm here, I have to thank you. But I know actually the institute belongs to the alums and the students. They are the major stakeholders, and they can only take it forward. We are only facilitator and just there to help whenever required. And I would still request Mr. Anurag and Pragya to, if you could kindly be here, because I'm sure the students have a lot of questions to ask from the alumni, because they have a lot of questions on their career and their future, etc. So actually, I have to explain about the selection process, which I'll skip because my colleagues at Nagpur and Hyderabad campus have already done that. So I think we'll take up the questions instead of that. Let me just quickly unshare my slide. Yeah. So I think we can take up a few questions from the chat box. Okay. There are a lot of questions. Okay, so there is a question for Professor Rakesh Gupta and Professor Sean. What is the primary difference between PGDM and PGDM dual country program? How should we go ahead and order them according to preferences? Any insights? So either Professor Rakesh Gupta or Professor Sean. I think Professor Sean, you can take up the questions.
Thank you, ma'am. So the primary difference, the 3-4 factors which I would like to highlight. In terms of the preferences, it's based on what the student wants to do. So if it's there's a primary difference in terms of the specializations which are there. While in the full-time program, you will get to specialize in the conventional areas, which is marketing, finance, operations, and HR. In case of dual country program, it's a little more niche specifications which are there, which consist of advanced quantitative finance, international trade and logistics, and international business and marketing. Second one, with respect to the course delivery, one of the programs, the full-time program, the flagship program is offered at our campus in IMT Ghaziabad. In terms of the dual country program, you will get to experience 2 countries, one a year in Ghaziabad and a year in Dubai. And it's primarily aligned towards those students who are looking at global careers, and specifically in these three domains where the specializations are based. And in terms of the internships also, the students, we are primarily, the candidates of the program are students who primarily hope to do a summer internship and also look at international kind of a placement, which is primarily based in the GCC region. Rakesh sir, if you would like to add on to this.
I think, Sean, you covered everything. So I will just, as a matter of priority, I think it is more about student choices, what kind of options they are looking at. So if you are looking at more aligning towards an international career, probably DCP may fit in better. If you are looking at specialization in marketing, finance, operation, the traditional areas, I think that's where the full-time programs come in, marketing, finance. And this year onward, I think we have carved out the specialization options in DCP in a very, very different way. The three niche areas, as I think Professor Sean. So that's what the difference is. About the preferences, I think it's an individual's choice.
Thank you, Professor Sean and Professor Gupta. There is one question related to what are we supposed to do in SOP and profile-based. SOP is statement of purpose. You must have received, all the students, you must have received a manual from the admission department about how to fill up the, what are the criteria, etc. for selection. Everything is mentioned in the manual. But SOP is statement of purpose. There are basically 2-3 questions are there. You have to write down, why do you want to join IMT Ghaziabad? How will IMT Ghaziabad help you in your career progression? And then where do you want to see yourself in another few years? So these are some of these questions. Based on these, you have to write the answer, statement of purpose. Basically, we will not meet physically since the entire process will be there in online mode. So therefore, faculty will get to know about you, the panelists, I mean to say. And profile based, that's also mentioned, and there are a lot of videos that are available. So a few seats will be reserved in the sense, it will be again on merit basis, but a little bit of relaxation will be there in terms of CAT percentile, cutoff percentile, and these will be based on exceptional work experience and exceptional profiles. So in case you are from that particular list of universities, colleges, etc., and we are very selective about them. So if you are from that company again, and you have minimum 2 years of work experience, you can apply. And for work experience, you have to also submit a letter of recommendation from your reporting manager or your previous reporting manager. So these are, but please remember, there will be only a few seats, and also these will be strictly on merit basis. Okay. Then there is one more question related to major minor. I think Professor Rakesh Gupta can take it. As per the choices available in the specialization and electives, is there any effect on placements accordingly? Like if someone takes major minor, would that reduce his placement chances? I think Professor Gupta as well as Dr. Renu can take it forward.
Yeah,
Like,
I will.
Major minor affect your placements? That's the question.
I will start from the courses side, and I think Renu can take on from. I don't think your choice of electives as well as specialization has an effect directly or indirectly in terms of placement. I think specialization and choice of electives should be looked at from a larger, longer perspective in which stream you are planning to make your career, at least in the initial few years of your journey. So looking at the placement trends, I think the placement records, I don't see it having any bearing on the placement. So Renu can dwell on it better. But I still insist you need to be very clear which stream you want to build your career on. And that should be the guiding philosophy in terms of specialization and electives choice. So over to you, Renu.
Sorry, please pardon me for the background noise, actually. There's marriage party going on. So one, as far as major is concerned, the opportunities come in through the organization for major specialization. Specific cases might be where organizations do say that, okay, we can look at people with minors also, but majority of the time it is the major which you have taken. Say, for example, you've taken marketing, so you would be eligible for a marketing role or a sales role. If you've taken finance, you would be eligible for that. So as far as specialization is concerned, then probably whatever you have chosen as your major specialization will also be your area of career. That is what is there.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gupta and Dr. Renu. There is one more very interesting question, and the question says that whose letter of recommendation should be submitted by entrepreneurs. If you are an entrepreneur and you don't have a reporting manager, but first you have to show evidence that you are an entrepreneur. Is your company listed? Is your company earning revenues or just revenues? I'm not talking of profits or losses, but is it earning at least revenues? Is there a regular income and expense? Can you show some evidence of balance sheet, audited balance sheet, and profit and loss statement? So some kind of evidence. These are just indicative evidences I've just spoken of. So if that is the case, if you are really an entrepreneur, your business is already doing well, or your business is at least you've started your business, has been carrying on for a few years, then in that case, you may not have a reporting manager, but at least if you have a co-founder or something, you share that letter of recommendation. Otherwise, give us evidence to prove that you are actually an entrepreneur. Okay, so there is another question for Dr. Renu. Shreya Sood wants to ask, what are the PPO internships offered for DCP program? So Dr. Renu as well as Dr. Sean can take it up. PPOs and internships for DCP program.
So as far as PPO and internships offered through the DCP program was similar to the other programs also. Were the PPO's internship offered to the? Yes, absolutely. Why not? If you have done a good job during an internship and there is a policy of giving a pre-placement offer, every student across all programs is eligible for that. So definitely, yes, DCP students also did get PPOs. Sean, would you like to add?
Yeah, no, I would remember specific cases. I think ABG did offer the PPO to at least one of the students, and I'm sure there were a lot of other companies which were there individually which were offering. So there was no differences in the, like Renu ma'am was explaining, there are no differences in the way PPOs internships are offered for the DCP program as compared to the other ones. It depends upon how well a job the student has done during the internships, more than the program specifically.
Yes, certainly. Yeah. So the next question again is for you, Dr. Renu. You can please specify the median CTC. I think the participant wants to know the median CTC.
Median is 14 lakhs.
Okay. So thank you very much.
And for details, you can check the website. I think all the details program-wise as well as everything is there on the website, the full placement report.
Yes, and Bharat also has a question like details regarding the placements of different programs. Bharat, everything is, as Renu ma'am has explained, everything is very clearly mentioned on our website. Just go to our website, browse through placements, and you will get all the detailed information with graphs, etc. Neeraj Chakravarti says, which country is this tie-up? Neeraj, that again you will find a map on our website, but we have a lot of business schools with, in Europe and lots of parts in Europe and Asia, etc. But if you talk about our DCP, we have a tie-up with Velric Business School. Professor Harsimran, would you like to throw a little more light on the BFS program tie-up with Velric?
Yeah, Professor Pranali. So we have a tie-up with Velric Business School. 40% of the courses, BFS courses, are delivered by Welding faculty. Welding faculty is an FT ranked and a triple accredited institution. Very few institutions are triple accredited across the world. So I think provides a fantastic global exposure, global financial exposure to our students by Welding faculty. So that's the type we have for the BFS program.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Sandhu. So Adarsh asks 90.42 percentile is in CAT. Good for IMTG. Adarsh, it all depends, these are very relative. Depends, CAT percentile depends on every year's application and the percentile that we receive. But yes, last time 90.42 was shortlisted. The candidate was shortlisted, but this is just by shortlisting others. After that, you have to handle the critical thinking process, the personal interview, and all these things matter. And there are other aspects, the weightages, etc., that we have for selection. Then the next question, I think I'll ask Mr. Mathur. Shivam Mittal wants to know, he wants to start his business after MBA. So which course he should go and which will help him in realizing his dream? Mr. Mathur can talk from industry perspective, and Professor Gupta can take it up since Professor Gupta is from entrepreneurial and innovation. Is Mr. Mathur.
Yes. So again, here it's a question of, I'm not too sure as to in terms of what is the line of business this person is into. I mean, if they are into a fintech or into a financial services space, then obviously, yes, the subjects to be taken up are very clear. But if you are not, if you are into manufacturing, then I would suggest that you also take a very keen interest in the supply chain and operations courses that we have offered, as well as in the HR courses that we offer. Because these are two very critical skills for any business that you go ahead. And as you go ahead in life, I mean, at least in my career, I have found that, like I was saying even earlier, it's all about people. It's all about how you handle people. So these two courses, in my view, to start with, I think would be the most important ones to take. If you are, and like I said, if you are in the BFSI space, then the BFSI course obviously is the critical one for you, and the professor can probably take it forward from there.
Yeah, and before that, I would ask Pragya. Pragya, you would like to share some experience. Someone wants to start a business. Like, what kind of courses he or she should take?
Like Anurag sir said, we don't know which line of service this person wants to go into, but it may be a great idea to look at FT as your course and take as many electives as possible for you to get trained in the right areas as you shape your dreams. It is not necessary to, go into HR or IT focused courses, therefore, but definitely focus on FT or FS and take the right electives.
Great. Professor Gupta and then Professor Harsimran. In fact, I'll ask you also. Suppose, somebody wants to start a business in fintech or say wants to start something in the financial services, what kind of courses he or she should be taking. But before that, I'll request Professor Gupta to throw some light on it.
Yeah, I will put it in two parts. There are some baseline courses specifically targeted at potential entrepreneurs at some point of time. There is a course in entrepreneurship and new venture creation. There is course in entrepreneurial finance. There is a workshop delivered in terms of ideation and venture creation. Then there is an elective course, managing a growing business. So there are certain basket of courses, baseline courses, which a candidate can do, some as core, some as elective also, which are targeted towards potential entrepreneurs. And subsequently, there is a second layer, which sector you are looking at. Like Anurag rightly mentioned, operations, supply chain. These are critical areas, people-oriented skills, which any potential entrepreneur needs to be well versed with. So you look at then probably those targeted courses also, and then the baseline courses also. So that's a kind of a combination. So that's where we said one of our founding focus and the vision also is we want to develop an entrepreneurial mindset, whether you directly start off by starting a new venture or even if you join a corporate world. So I think today entrepreneurial mindset is critical both within industry or whether you start on your own right from day one.
Yeah, that's very wonderful. I mean, that is exactly, it's a very good question that Shivam has asked. And in fact, this is what, in fact, I want to ask all of you, like, how are our courses, IMT Ghaziabad's programs and courses helping a person to become a good entrepreneur? So Professor Sandhu and then Professor Sean, in fact, I'll ask you about the global exposure part of it. But before that, Professor Sandhu.
So I think let me be very specific on the BFS sector. If you look at the kind of startups that are happening in the BFS sector, is all disrupting the traditional businesses, and these are very small startups, and these getting very fast funding from the venture capitalists, whether it's in the wealth management space, asset management space, insurance, you name it, any sector. And these have been started with the people with experience of about as little as 2, 3, 4 years in the corporate world, and have come together. And mostly these people have a special characteristic that these are from a similar institute. So they have decided within the institute they want to start up. They work for 2, 3 years, and then they kind of start up with that mindset. And I think the kind of entrepreneurship ecosystem that has been set up across the country, it gives a very fertile kind of a thing that IMT, within IMT also you can think about ideas, and we have industry experts that come, and you can bounce off your ideas within industry expert, within IMT and the faculty, that what kind of startup you want to do, and we will be very happy to kind of push that startup within our ecosystem as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. It provides a very good platform. IMT Ghaziabad actually provides a very good platform to become a good entrepreneur or to start some entrepreneurship, right? This is what you
Professor Barnali, if I add just one more sentence, besides the courses, a lot of our alumni are also successful entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it goes far beyond the courses also, and they are also regularly involved, not in terms of guiding them, but hand holding some of the candidates who are looking at entrepreneurship right from the beginning as their direction.
Yeah, very well said. In fact, very well said, Professor Gupta. Professor Sandhu, in fact, that is what Professor Sandhu is saying, that, if you throw a good idea, probably you have private equity investors or venture capitalists coming to the campus and, funding you, giving you Series 1 funding, or there may be a few angel investors. Yes, Pragya?
I just want to highlight one of the recent most funds, the venture capitalist funds, focusing on students, called Hostel Fund, has been started by an IMT alum. And he supports not only IMT, but many B school campuses, the young entrepreneurs. So raise your hand, be part of the e-cell, and reach out to Ankur Jain. Hostel Fund is IMTians. So
Thank you for bringing e-cell in this context. Great. We have this e-cell also. A lot of mentorship is done, and as Pragya is saying, funding. There are people. People are so alums are all nostalgic about their own alma mater. So they would go to any extent to do something for the next gen and for the institute. Professor Sean, I just take a minute of yours, and before I know I'm holding everyone from lunch, so I'll not take much of time, but just one question. Suppose a student does DCP program, dual country program, and wants to go for entrepreneurship. How is this going to help him? How is this program going to help?
Ma'am, so just adding on to the points which many of my co-panelists had said, one is the course structure is designed, or across all programs. There is two portions which, really help. One is building of the hard skills, and second one is exposure to the soft skills part of it. So those technical skills are imparted to the courses. Specifically for DCP, if you look at it, one of the things which we try to foster here is looking at short-term and long-term projects within the country. So the way Dubai is structured is many of the companies are looking at, even if you look at normal internships, they look for people who would actually come and be part of an internship and then take it towards a job. Now, if you look at it from an entrepreneurship point of view also, this really helps the students get exposed to the different nuances of business in UAE. And in fact, we had a very recent interaction with one of our alumni who earlier used to work for Choithrams and then was with Landmark, who has actually started her own business in UAE. So we had a session with her, Gayatri Pandey, just last week. And one of the things she highlighted was her multiple internship, which she was exposed to both as part of the summer internship and the extra internships which she took up in Dubai, which really exposed her to the way of working in Dubai. And the second thing probably which I would highlight is we also foster students to network on their own. We already have a large network you can bank on, and depending upon the interest levels, the students are probably able to identify these sort of informal mentorships which would really help them in developing their ideas and then taking it forth. So that networking part also, especially from a Dubai perspective, that really helps even beyond our Imt network.
Yeah, and also your courses are super specialized courses. So if you have in your mind that, I want to start something in, say, international market or something, I mean, it's a very good course because the student will get global exposure and also will get to learn courses which will be related to different countries, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the last
just
question.
to add on, ma'am, like with the other programs, we also have this, industry experts coming in as part of all the courses. So depending upon your interest, there's an opportunity for the students to take.
Yeah, in fact, you have international faculty also who come and teach in DCP program, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now the last question, we'll just be taking the last question. And this is for either Mr. Anurag or Pragya or Dr. Renu, anyone can take it. So Sarthak asked, he wants to pursue a management strategy consulting career. So which is the specialization that he should go for? Since Pragya, you are a
Pragya, yes.
And Pragya may be the right person to take the
person for it.
Yeah.
So, strategy in management consulting, I would recommend go for combination of finance, management, and strategy. You could take as your major anything between finance and marketing, but companies tend to look at finance first and marketing second as far as strategy consulting goes. Make sure in electives you choose the right kind of programs, courses. Especially take strategy management 1, 2, at least that is what they were called in my time in your electives. A well-rounded exposure to various subjects is required if you want to move into management or strategy consulting. So focus on getting everything under your hat. So HR, IT, none can be ignored if you want to come to consulting.
Thank you, Pragya. So now I think it's time for us to wind up today's session. So the next session will be on 30th of January at this Imt. It will start at 11 o'clock. Imt Hyderabad will be from 12:30 onwards. So this will be our director session where all the participants will get to meet our director and our one of our alumni, prominent alumni. So that will be good because you will get to know about the what the director has basically in mind. So we are very soon coming out with director cut on 30th. So do join us there. And as our alums, Mr. Anurag Mathur and Ms. Pragya have said that I should not be thanking them. So I will neither thank Anurag, Pragya or my colleagues because we all are a part of the family and that is family Imt. So all our students who are in the campus are a part of our family. So I'll neither thank them nor I will thank my IT people who are here all through the session, and also our lovely admission committee students, Pranjali, and I think Abhishek also is there. So anyway, I mean, it's been lovely to have you all here, but I must thank the aspirants who wish to join Imt. And in case there is any kind of query, don't hesitate to write a mail to admissions@imt.edu. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And we extend a hand to you all to become a part of our family also.
Yes.
Yes, certainly. Okay. Have a very good day. I'm sorry I delayed your lunch.